No, JD, no, you don't do it like that. You're not a good enough con man. You'll never be president unless you can con him. What's $300 billion twixt friends, folks? Nothing. We'll explore the question. The Mike Church Show is on, and we are live, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, Trump has topped Obama times 30.
Continuing stability.
$10 million he gave
be
us.
reorganized into the first galactic empire. For a safe and secure society.
So I'm calling on Congress to pass these reforms, and I'm going to sign them into law. You fall down the thunder, well, now you got it. You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
All righty. Our call-in line telephone number, if you'd like to be on the program today, 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE, email address same as it ever hath been. I am King Dude at protonmail.com. And the Crusader Mike Churchill Stadium chat room is open for your commentary at crusadechannel.com/chat. Got a nifty new little screen display window there. But you know what? Your green's dropping the gold out. See the bottom? See where it says win a pound of gold? That's supposed to be yellow. Instead, it's being dropped out by the stupid green filter.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, then, unbelievable. You can't win. You know, I'm going to start off with this. You can't win in this bit. You just can't win anymore. There's not enough time to prepare this. I don't have Megyn Kelly's 6 producers laying around here. And then things like this happen. Oh, you almost got it.
If it's pixelated on here, it's fixed here. If it's fixed here, it's pixelated here.
Well, then we're going to have to just ditch the graphic then.
I think it looks fine. Just leave it.
All right.
Let it be.
Big news headline today. Fox, the company, is going to acquire Roku. Now, I don't know for what purpose we have this monster called the Federal Trade Commission and what it is that it is supposed to do. What are these commissions that are supposed to stop monopolies? What are they sitting there doing if they're not going to stop this? They already failed to stop Skydance and Paramount and CBS from basically merging into one ginormous blob of an alleged broadcasting and motion picture and television unit. Hell, it's so big, they don't even know what they're doing. And now, if you don't have a Roku TV, TCL is a brand that 10 years or so made an investment and decided that, you know what, it would be really cool if we made a television that had the little Roku device, because you can buy a Roku box. It's about this big. If we had the Roku box inside the TV. That way, customers could just buy the TV, put their Roku digits in, username and password, and it would log into their account, and then they would get the channels that they had subscribed to at Roku.com. So, and Roku's been around. See, this is 2026. When did Roku launch? Came after TiVo. It was shortly after TiVo. Of course, TiVo died. I think TiVo is still around in some iteration. 2008. I was about right. So since 2008, you have independent television shows or channels that have been utilizing the service, basically that Roku provides. We have a Roku. Most of you would be shocked to find out There is a Mike Church Show channel on Roku. I triple do dare you. Go look it up. As a matter of fact, if you want to buy a subscription for $5.99, you can watch it right now in super clear HD. And someday we're going to figure out how to send a commercial-free version of it. So, and one thing that Roku does not do, Roku does not give me grief over copyright infringements. Well, all that's going to change if this merger goes through. So Maggie is going through the news and she reads this. She's reading headlines, and she gets to that headline. I say, whoa, back up. Almost said, what? Streaming giant Roku to join Fox in $22 billion acquisition. Now, I'm going to personally write a letter to Brendan Carr and tell him that he needs to put the kibosh on this, that there has been enough merger, acquisition, and consolidation in the broadcasting business. There's not going to be anyone left except the Crusade Radio Guild. We're the only indie left standing. Now, I don't mind being the only indie left standing. I think it's just horrible for the industry, for the vocation. You just keep going around and gobbling things up. You know what they're going to do? They're going to fox it. They're going to turn it in to a Barbie and Bimbo channel, and they're going to start kicking people like me. They're going to start kicking us off. They're going to say, well, you have too many copyright violations. You have to sign this new NDA agreement. Here, it's 74 pages long. Sign it in blood at the bottom. I'm simply shocked by this. Fox Corporation is acquiring streaming platform Roku in a $22 billion deal, the company said on June 15th. The cash and stock deal approved by the board of directors gives Fox access to Roku's global footprint. Can you imagine what they'll do with that? This includes Roku's devices and services, which reach 100 million households worldwide and generate about $145 billion of engagement per year. Roku didn't ask any of us if we wanted to join Fox. I wasn't asked. I've had a channel on Roku for 12 years now. Nobody asked me. They didn't send a survey out. They said, hey, do you want to be acquired by Fox? Do you want to share your broadcast with the Fox audience or with the Fox Corporation? Because I'm going to go, no. How about no? The combined company will become the third largest player in U.S. television by share of viewing, controlling more than 5% of the market. Good grief. In recent years, the news and sports programming giant has been steadily pushing deeper into streaming, most notably with the launch of Fox One this past summer. But the company has trailed other major names in the industry, including Amazon, Disney Plus, Netflix, and YouTube. The deal expected to produce $400 million in savings. Oh, there's always a savings there, isn't there? Might have been more urgent as Paramount Skynet closes its takeover of the Warner Brothers Discovery Entertainment empire. It's what I was talking about earlier. You have all of these ginormous blobs of entertainment company merging. Soon, there can be only one. Soon it's going to be a Highlander. And they'll be running around looking for heads to lop off, like in the movie Highlander. Fox CEO and Chairman Lachlan Murdoch, second-generation crime family lord, described the purchase as a defining moment for the company that will continue the deliberate and focused strategy we have been executing for nearly a decade. I just want to point something out. People are going, why? What is the content of this channel? We're going to do a Rand deal in advance. I will, but this to me is more important. If you slice this up and you look at this properly, this is not growing a brand. I want everyone to understand this is pure greed, and it's sinister. You know, when you have a little entity like this one right here, You know, we're asking for a stinking $50 purchase of a ticket that we'll give you the chance to win $52,000 in gold. Here we are looking at our daily ticket sales and wondering, where is our fans? Where are the people that buy tickets to our fundraisers every year? We're on 2 networks now here. Go to goldentruthticket.com. Get yours today. Or just don't. Put us out of our misery. When you're operating a little entity like this, everything on Earth, and just I'm not whining now, just stating the facts. Everything in this vocation in this industry is stacked against you. You have to go and do daily head-to-head combat with this thing called an algorithm. When I got my FCC broadcasting license at WTIX in New Orleans in 1992, and I had to take a little test and fill a form out. You used to have to do this. Nobody asked me if there was no checkbox on there. Check this box to acknowledge you are signing your life away to an algorithm that's going to take control of the entire FCC broadcast world in 2026. Nobody asked me to check that box because I wouldn't have checked it. So when you're running a little small mom and pop media outlet like this one, the one you're watching, see that graphic on the screen right there? You see that right there? I'm like Chris Carter, the guy that created the X-Files. I made this. I made that. You know, Megyn Kelly is fond of telling people that she has 6 producers that produce her show. 6. So she could sit there in front of the red screen there, or it's actually a green screen. They project the red screen all day long and can do what she does. And there are 6 people that are working on the show. You know how many people work on this show? Me and her, 2. And then we're then charged with the task, or we volunteer for the task of competing. And you're going, okay, we'll go head-to-head with them. I used to be on Sirius XM for 13 years. I have been inside that building for over a decade. And I'm happy to perform the program that we have been doing every day for 35 years. If we just have a fighting chance, and if all things are equal. Well, they're not equal. All things are not equal. I don't have the access to what it is that the people that have now been gobbled up by Fox and then gobbled up by Tom Cruise and Skydance and Paramount and CBS and these other mergers and acquisitions and takeovers. This is not growing your brand. I have to grow my brand by talking to you every day and saying, hi, how are you? Hey, I'm going to talk about J.D. Vance being tasked with being the Trump administration's chief salesman of the rotten $300 billion giveaway to the Iranians. Who didn't see this coming? And then I have to ask you, can you tap that subscribe button down there? I'll be your best friend. Me, you, friend. E.T. phone home, friend. Me, friend. You, friend. I'll be your best friend. Will you leave a comment in the chat down there? I'll be your bestest friend. More comments. This guy named Algo loves you and loves me more when you leave a comment in that chat room. So my point being, the only way that this little entity grows is by blood, sweat, literally, tears, and risk. Giving a pound of gold away, for example, is a risk. There is no guarantee I will sell enough tickets to even get to the break-even point. And the way it's going right now, looking pretty bleak. But we agreed to do it, and we're going to carry it through. So the point is we have to earn our market share. I can't just go out and do what they're doing and buy it. That should piss people off. That you're just going to go out there and I'm just going to buy your market share. And I'm going to fat bastard swallow it. It's wrong. And there doesn't seem to be any end to it. I'm sitting here looking at this. Who is left to gobble? Who is left to eat? Who is left for one of these behemoths that cannot possibly care about the end result and the end broadcasting product? They just can't. who is left for them to gobble, for them to consolidate? And isn't this just the way everything is going? You know, you find something that you like. You know, I told a story about the water company, the little water company that we started buying bottled water from 25 years ago. And in the last 4 years now, it has become, it's a now Japanese-owned, no, an Asian-owned conglomerate that apparently is just buying water companies up across the United States, has the most horrible, horrid customer service, and people are getting disconnected and whatever because the Indians that they hire for customer service and to run their networks don't speak English. Now, yesterday on the same subject, I received a letter in the United States Postal Service mail that was delivered to my home. I received a letter that the mortgage company that bought my mortgage 3 years ago, has sold it and the entirety of their company to another larger mortgage company, which is now going to be the owner of my mortgage. This will be the 8th transition. This is the 8th time my mortgage has been sold. Now you may be going like, Mr. King, dude, please, why do you burn me to tears with this stupid story about the mortgage? Then they take over. Every time that they sell the mortgage to a new company, the new company gets worse and worse and worse because they're bigger and bigger, and they hate more and more, and they just don't care. And everything is going to be automated now. You know, the last time that it's still on my credit report. The last time they changed, there were two mortgage companies ago. They told all of us, don't worry, all of your account info has been transferred over. The new people, you won't even miss it. You won't even know the difference here. The new people are just going to take over. They're going to have such wonderful customer service and this and that and the other. And if you had like signed up, for example, for an electronic draft, so you're not writing checks, they're just drafting it out of your bank account, then that will still happen. Well, we weren't doing that. We were actually doing checks. And so they gave us an address, and we started sending checks, and they started cashing them. Well, 90 days in, I get a foreclosure notice in the mail. I'm like, what? Foreclosure? Yeah, you're 120 days past due. I'm like, no, I'm not. 30 days worth of fighting with these people, finally to find out that, oh, yeah, they got the checks, and yeah, their computer, their automated system cashed them. Oh, yeah, they had the deposit records. They assigned it to the wrong account number. So at the end of that, oh no, we'll put your account back in good standing. Tell that to Equifax that you ratted me out to and said that you were foreclosing on me. Still on there. Try getting that off of your credit record. So it's just one of those days. I had no intention of talking about this. Maggie told me like 10 minutes to 6, and I go like, what? Roku? No, say it isn't so. Well, the only thing that can stop this now is the monster known as the federal government. So it wasn't my intent to talk about it, but I will wager you that I am not the only one who keeps having their business sold and their services sold.
Has been the industry leader in promotions, giving away 5 cars in the last 8 years alone. But nothing can prepare you for the greatest giveaway event in broadcast history. Coming June 8th.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church Show events, early access to new dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique dude number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your dude number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
I think I'll go to sleep and dream about piles of gold getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Here's a piles and piles of gold fun fact. In 1971, if D.B. Cooper had jumped out of an airplane with $200,000 worth of gold instead of U.S. currency, he would have $25.4 million in gold bullion today. Now, we don't know where D.B. Cooper's money is, but we do know that Mike Church has 1 troy pound of gold in his safe and that he's going to give it away on July 2nd. And you don't have to jump out of an airplane to win it.
Win Mike Church's Pound of Gold. Tickets on sale now exclusively at winapoundofgold.com. D.B. Cooper and Cocaine Bear parachutes sold separately.
In 1983, ZZ Top made the song and it was true from the time that song came out till around 2010, when girls stopped going crazy over a sharp-dressed man because men stopped dressing sharply. Cargo shorts, flip-flops, and tank tops became all the rage for men's public casual wear, to say nothing of how they dressed for mass. Well, as my listeners and viewers know, there's hardly anything more important to me than being a sharp-dressed man. And to help you become one, I'm introducing the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, Proselytize, whose designs are not only striking, they're 100% Catholic. You will look fantastic and like a sharp-dressed Catholic man in your Proselytize neckties. Available now in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Shop for ties, caps, t-shirts, and much more in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Okay, here we go to the Golden Truth Tickets Dude Maker Winner Hotline. Caller number 4. Number 4, who's this?
This is Ann Dolan.
Ann Dolan is the big winner today. That says she's allowed to win it because I hear her getting instructions in the background from her husband.
Michael.
That's right. I'm not getting my hands on it.
He's sitting there and he's plotting it. He goes, what happens if she wins and she tries to fly town with it?
That's right. Now there are 3 grandkids, though.
So, Ann Dolan, what would you do with the $52,000?
Well, we are building our house finally.
Oh.
We're in the process, so I would definitely put it towards the house because the price of everything has really gone up since we started this project.
Ann Dolan, congratulations. And I understand that I think you have the secret code word from the Mike Church Show Daily Highlight Reel video of the day. What is it?
It is Dead President.
It is Dead President. You too could be next, our next big winner in the Golden Truth Ticket 2026 at goldentruthticket.com. Thanks for listening and playing.
Most Crusade Channel wannabes only get the mission half right.
Men, you are about to embark on a great crusade to stamp out runaway decency in the West.
So why settle for half-baked radio hacks crusading in mono when you can get the real deal on the Mike Church Show?
Now go do that voodoo that you do so well.
In stereo. The Mike Church Show's Great Crusade is on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Mark, ow!
Some guys do nothing
Wednesday edition Mike Church Show here on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at mypillow.com/King Dude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/King Dude. You know, they size your MyPillow up by your shoe size. So, whatever your shoe size is, will determine the size of your MyPillow. And while you're doing your shoe size, why not size yourself up for a pair of My Slippers at mypillow.com/King Dude. That's mypillow.com/King Dude. You got My Towels, My Mattress Toppers, My Sheets, My Pillowcases. There's no limit to the my's that they have at mypillow.com. Use our code at mypillow.com/King Dude. Or if you already have it set, then it would be mypillow.com. If you already have the page bookmark, then just use the coupon code King Dude at checkout, and that will then give the Mike Church Show and the Crusade Radio Guild credit. 844-527-8723. So, a coda to yesterday's program. So yesterday I was talking about George Washington and the trip that he made over to the U.S. Senate to go watch a treaty that he had negotiated with two southern Indian tribes. Thank you very much for calling Roku. Now that we have taken over by Fox News, this is customer service. My name is Charles Smith. And not that the American kind of Indian. Yes, I just did that. And so Washington brings the treaty over there, and he brings his buddy Henry Knox with him. And Knox, you have to know a little bit about the backstory about Knox. I'm not going to. He was a bookseller in Boston. He joined Washington's army. Washington liked him so much, he goes, I'm going to give you a special mission. Complete it, and I'll make you an officer. And Knox went to Fort Ticonderoga, got the cannons that Washington said he thought were there, brought them back, and he goes, okay, I'll make you a general. And that's how he became general. So the part I left out about the story is the funniest part. And that is that Knox and Washington go to the Senate chamber, and the senator's like, oh, you brought a treaty with us. Oh, how fantastic. Can you read it to us? And so Washington looks at Knox, and Washington's like, I'm not reading it. And Knox goes, okay, well, I'll read it. So it's rather lengthy as well. So Knox picks the documents up and then goes into the well of the Senate, as it calls, starts to read. Well, it just so happens that on that day, outside of Federal Hall in New York, there was a lot of traffic and commotion. There's no record of why, there just was. And so about an hour and a half later, when Knox has finished reading the finer points of the treaty, and Washington is sitting there just turning red and boiling mad in his chair, one of the members of the Senate says, hey, thank you very much for that, but I couldn't hear it. Can you read it again? It's at this point where, remember I told you that Washington was going to storm out, and they calmed him down. It's at this point that Washington was just going to leave. And they calmed him down. And so he had to sit there and he had to listen to it for a second time. And that's when it was fine. And he was like going, because he knew where the end was. And as soon as it was finished, he vaulted out of his chair, didn't tell them goodbye. And then he did what I said. He walked to the door and he slammed the door shut. I wanted to bring this up because of the deal with the Iranians. There's two ways a foreign agreement gets basically made law. Now, this is interesting. I would think people would be actually concerned about this. If the Trump administration submits whatever this deal is with the $300 billion bribe and payback to the Iranians, and I'm not buying this. There is something sinister and nefarious going on here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Having said that, they sent J.D. Vance out to be the salesman. Go, oh, no, everyone trusts J.D. They're suspicious of tracksuit Marco because he's a neocon. They're not as suspicious of doughboy face J.D., so send J.D. out. Let's talk about this for a minute. People are poo-pooing this. Mark Levin is out there demanding now that the Senate hear the bill. Now, why does Levin and Lindsey Graham and Tom Cotton and the usual Zionist hacks, those men that have sold their country out, that ought to just leave, get the blank out of the United States, go join the government and the country of Israel, and go live your life over there. Screw this dual citizenship garbage. And in any event, if the Trump administration were to submit this deal as a treaty, this is very important, folks. You need to pay attention here. And you won't know what's in it. They're not going to let us read this before, if it were to be submitted as a treaty, before it got ratified. So let's just pretend that they submit it as a treaty. And I don't know that they're going to do that. Lindsey Graham said that he's going to ask Trump to submit it as a treaty. If the United States Senate, by a 2/3 majority of those present, votes in the affirmative, and whatever this deal is, and that means basically, so the way it has to arrive with Trump's signature or the president's signature on it. That's saying that I've negotiated the deal. It's under my Article 2, Section 2, foreign policy power. And I'm asking you with the advise and consent clause to look at it and consent. And then the Senate would vote 2/3 majority. They would ratify the treaty. And here's where the kibosh comes. Here's the part that you must know and you must understand. At that point, that treaty basically becomes an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. It becomes part of the Constitution. It is legal and it is binding on every state in the Union, on every city in every state in the Union, and every township in every state in the Union, and on every citizen in every state in the Union. I want y'all to look this up. This has happened before. I want you to look this up in your spare time. Maybe I'll ask Dr. Deep State if he knows about this when we get him on in hour 3. Look up the Migratory Birds Treaty. Tom Woods and Kevin Gutzman start their book, Who Killed the Constitution? Chapter 1 is about the migratory birds. And why do I bring it up? Well, the Senate ratified the treaty thinking that they were just doing a good thing and making, so the geese from Canada can just fly from Canada across the United States and not be shot down or regulated or whatever to go to their winter home in Mexico or wherever. But because the treaty was binding upon everyone, when the geese were flying over, I can't remember, it's been 15 years since I read it, but when the geese, I think it was Missouri, when the geese were flying over Missouri, they decided to stop at some farmer's pond. And this farmer decided, Canadian geese, tasty. And as I recall, this farmer shot a couple of them, and they were going to have them for Christmas dinner or whatever. And the precursors to the environmentalist wackos that we have around us today found out about it, and they sued. And they said, you can't do this under the Migratory Birds Treaty. And so my point is, because you don't know what's in this treaty, if Trump's deal with the Iranians is to be treated as a treaty, then you and I are bound to it. Well, what if the Zionists put Zion things in there? Like it's illegal to criticize Israel, which is already.
And you know they would.
And you know that they will. Or it's illegal to boycott an Israeli business. Or it's illegal to not throw your Mordor in the Potomac River prayer mat down and throw it down and have it face Tel Aviv once a day and pay your homage. Or, hey, here's a new one going around. Oh, you want me to pay a tithe to Israel? Yeah, they could tuck that in there. And you and I and our state would be bound to it. This is the proverbial fire George Washington warned us about. Now, it doesn't have to, let me give you the good news. It doesn't have to be a treaty. It can still be binding under international law if it's what's called an executive agreement. So, Maggie, look up how many executive agreements are currently in effect. The last time you did this research for me, by the way, this will be your role as producer number 3 now. So, number 1 is main radio mixing console. That's producer 1. Producer 2 is over there on the video console and with the video feed. That's producer 2. Producer 3 is when I ask you to research. So... Maybe we'll sell the 10,000 tickets to the Golden True Ticket Contest after all, and we can at least get you one of Megyn Kelly's 6 producers.
Look at the second one.
Okay, so, that's 5,000 more than the last time we looked at it. So, what's an executive agreement? Well, I'm going to give you an example. Now, we can do things here on the Mike Church Show that other podcast hosts and other people that don't care about the art of broadcasting and don't have any experience and skin in the game because they haven't been doing it and they're just doing it for clicks and likes. We can do things like this all day long that they can't, they don't want to do. Which then I can share some knowledge with you because I've acquired it over 35 years and living a long life and trying to pay attention to things. What's an executive agreement? Well, you could go send Tracksuit Marco to the island nation of Fiji and on the Trump administration and on behalf of the American people's behalf, say, hey, let's just pretend we don't have one. Our citizens would like to travel to your fine nation and vacation here because you have blue water and huts with glass floors on them and what have you. And here's an executive agreement that basically says that your citizens can vacation in the United States. Can't live there, but you can visit all you want. Our citizens can visit Fiji and vacation. They can't live there. They're not going to become citizens, but you're going to give them passport privileges. That is an executive agreement. The number will shock you. Currently, there are more than 18,500 executive agreements in effect. 18,500 executive agreements. It is likely because of the brevity of which this whole thing has to be done by Friday, according to President Trump, that this is probably going to be an executive agreement and not a treaty. Now, isn't it interesting that get off the phone, you big dope, that the mediocre one does not want this treaty treated in the United States Senate like it's a treaty. Or he does, rather. Now, why does he want this? Why are all the neocons so desperate to get their hands on Trump's deal? Well, you know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do with it. What an irony of all ironies. And no one had this on their bingo card. No one had this on their bingo card. You mean to tell me that the entirety of this scam that began with Netanyahu scamming the people that were present in the Situation Room on the 11th of February 2026 this year, when he and the head of Mossad went and made their presentation, their song and dance, their vaudeville act to Trump and the Situation Room and Susie Wiles and Tracksuit Marco and Push-Up Pete and the rest of them. They didn't invite J.D. Vance. They didn't invite Tulsi Gabbard. And said, Iran has never been weaker, Mr. President. If you join Israel and we two-front attack Iran, then the people of Iran are ready for revolution and they will take over the government and all will be, gumdrops will fall from sky, streets will be paved with gold in Iran and Israel will prosper, Mr. President. I embellish it a little bit, not much. You mean to tell me that the end game of this whole thing, and don't tell me that this was not part of the plan now, because remember, the whole thing began with deal. We have a deal. We have a deal. I sent Jared, my son-in-law, over there. The Iranians are so close. They're begging for a deal. They're begging for a deal. Macron, I told you, Macron, by the way, your wife looks like a dude. Riley Gaines is far more attractive than your wife, Macron. She is far more, but she comes in fifth. That they always planned that they would get the alliance and the takeover of the government of Israel into the government, mesh it with the government of the United States via a treaty to end a war that didn't have to be started. And then the Senate would ratify it, and then we're all screwed and we're all stuck under it. Now, I don't know if anyone else is talking about this in this manner, but they should be. Let me tell you a little bit more about the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, enacted in 1918 as a foundational U.S. federal law that protects over 1,000 species of native birds. It makes it illegal to pursue, hunt, capture, kill, or possess these birds, as well as their feathers, eggs, and nests, without a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And I can't remember why the guy got sued over it, but so there was the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. So it was part of it. It was an act that was combined with a treaty. It's still binding. Yep. Imagine the Iranian deal binding as a treaty on all 50 states. How many people at that point throw their hand up in the air and go like, okay, that's it. No more. Go to your governor. We want out. We want out of the compact. They're in breach of it now. We are not going to be material participants in the government of the state of Israel. And I'm not paying a tithe. I'm not sending them weapons. I'm not sending my sons and daughters to fight and die in their wars. And they're not coming over here to take control of and to operate inside of what is supposed to be our government. Now, you can't possibly know whether or not that's in the deal or not, because Netanyahu says, oh, no, they left us out of the negotiations. That's the only ray of hope that you have, is that somebody told Trump, you can't let the Israelis anywhere near this deal. Because if you do it as a treaty, they're going to want in. And they're going to want to be included and named, and they're going to have demands. And your buddies in the Senate, Zionist buddies, are going to give it to them. This is some nefarious stuff here, so just be prepared. Now, and here we are Tuesday morning. I don't know. I cannot tell you. I can tell you this. I bet no one else is reporting on this. This is a newsletter called Israel Hayom, Hayom. So, I picked this story up yesterday from Owen Schroyer. Trump secretly approved Qatar-Iran cash deal is the headline. Now, again, I don't know this particular entity, so I present this to you as it has the potential to be jaundiced. But then again, what in the mainstream Malachian satanic media, MSM, is not jaundiced these days? Diplomatic officials confirm Washington secretly authorized Doha to transfer funds to Tehran in exchange for freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz and immunity from attacks. The dual policy was intended to curb global energy prices and served as the basis for the memorandum of understanding being forged with the leadership of the Revolutionary Guards. While oversight of the financial spigot was watered down and handed to the Qataris, talks in Washington stalled over a bitter dispute surrounding the issue of uranium enrichment. The U.S. secretly approved a financial and maritime arrangement between Qatar and Iran, under which billions of dollars were paid to Tehran in exchange for free passage for Qatari tankers. and ships through the Strait of Hormuz, 3 diplomatic officials now confirm. This was a deliberate and conscious course of action by the Trump administration, which allowed its own Navy to turn a blind eye to the arrangement in complete contradiction of its declared policy. The move was intended to ease the crises in global energy markets and curb rising oil prices. The current revelation proves that the White House had already laid the groundwork at the time for the Memorandum of Understanding being forged with Iran. In doing so, the administration gave Iranian terrorism a critical economic lifeline at a moment of particularly severe financial strangulation. So in other words, well, they're going to get a bailout, aren't they? They bailed them out. Is what the story is alleging. The secret U.S. approval, which the sources said was granted about a month ago, dovetailed with Doha's interest in opening a direct channel of communication with Tehran, which began to tighten after the ceasefire. Qatar, fearing a renewed Iranian attack on its facilities after one of its gas installations was attacked during the war, sought to buy security quietly. While the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia were hit by missile and UAV attacks after the ceasefire, Qatar assisted Iran financially and remained completely protected. How do you like that? Explains a lot, doesn't it?
The Crusade Channel, talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com. When you hear the noon bells tolling, it's time for Angelus, brought to you by the Crusade Channel.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to our Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My Dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
I think I'll go to sleep and dream about piles of gold getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Here's a piles and piles of gold fun fact. In 1971, if D.B. Cooper had jumped out of an airplane with $200,000 worth of gold instead of U.S. currency, he would have $25.4 million in gold bullion today. Now, we don't know where D.B. Cooper's money is, but we do know that Mike Church has 1 troy pound of gold in his safe and that he's going to give it away on July 2nd. And you don't have to jump out of an airplane to win it.
Win Mike Church's Pound of Gold. Tickets on sale now exclusively at winapoundofgold.com. D.B. Cooper and Cocaine Bear Parachute sold separately.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Gentlemen, the Committee of the Whole has voted to hear Mr. Dickinson's proposal on...
Mr. President, enough of the talk of petitions.
Mr. Adams, you will respect my rules, sir, and stand...
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723. Hey folks, Mike Church here. You know, when I was a little cheerins, I remember loving the old Dunkin' Donuts TV spot. You know, the one with the guy who got up at 3 a.m. mumbling to himself as he went out the door and then back in his front door.
Time to make the donut.
Well, fast forward 46 years and now I'm the guy waking up at 3 a.m. mumbling to myself as I go in the studio door, then back out. Time to make the radio. I made the radio. I made the radio. But I have a secret weapon the Dunkin' Donut dude didn't have. Mike Church's Capuchin Holy Roast coffee in whole bean or ground. Our fresh, aromatic, gourmet coffee is made from 100% fair trade beans, freshly imported, roasted by my friend Kyle and his daughter at the Abita Roasting Company, then delivered to you so fresh your kitchen will smell like a barista shop. Good. So, whenever you arise to take on the day and listen to the Mike Church Show, do it the Red, White, and Dude Nation way by brewing up a fresh pot of Capuchin Holy Roast or my all-new Capuchin Holy Roast New Orleans blend coffee and chicory at shop.mikechurch.com. Caller number 7 is... Who is this?
This is dude number 1210.
Dude number 1210 is today's big winner. There you go. Hey, dude number. Yeah. I'm not going to give you a woo. I'm going to give you a wah.
Already. So I hear you got some Franklins for me. Is that right?
Could you tell me the Easter egg code word? Oh, yes, it is. Go! That's right. You got it. Franklin's is the code word. See? So it works. You get not one, but two tickets at one. This is like a juicy double mint bubblegum commercial. What are you going to do with it?
What am I going to do with it? Actually, I'm gonna bury it under my greenhouse.
You know what? It won't be worth any less if it's in the dirt than it is if it's in a safe. Hey, it's still a hell of a prize. Congratulations, buddy. You got two tickets. Thank you very much for playing the Win a Pound of Gold Golden Truth Tickets Soundbite of the Day game.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mike.
All right, brother.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Brother Mike Church presents Flashback. Sinful things that were happening 20 years ago. Jurassic Park, the remake of Godzilla, and the beginning of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Are either of you homosexuals?
You mean like flaming, or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
Let's hope and pray no one will ever confess those sins again. The Mike Church Show, preaching and teaching from his abbey while living here in the present on the Veritas Radio Network's crusade.
Oh, come on, Captain. You're not the first man to get a thrill from murdering someone. I see it all the time.
Get out!
Or what? You'll kill me? Like you killed Ensign Lynch?
There was no way to save him.
You didn't even try. Where was your involved sensibility then?
I don't have time for this.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your little quest. Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale.
This is not about revenge.
Liar!
This is about saving the future of humanity.
Jean-Luc, blow up the damn ship!
No! No! I will not sacrifice the Enterprise. We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther. I will make them pay for what they've done.
Performing this show with 99.9% of all my testosterone and male faculties tied behind my back just to make it a fair fight. It's a Mike Church Show here on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. I forgot to play the soundbite of the day last segment here. So, again, because we're 5 of our producers have been loaned out to the Megyn Kelly Show. And so we have been doing literal Mortal Kombat episode or film number 2 with some of the tech here this morning. And in doing that, I forgot to play the soundbite. So, Maggie, get your spinning wheel of death ready. Here we go.
I can't read the whole thing, but I can tell you that these are definitely pre-colonial Native American markings.
Easily 500 years old.
Easily. I can identify one symbol. Look at this. Do you know what that is?
Sacred calendrical? I don't know.
That symbol is Cibola. That's Cibola.
The City of Gold. The City of Gold. In 1527, a Spanish ship wrecked on the Florida coast. There were only 4 survivors. One was a slave named Esteban, who saved a local tribe's dying chief. As a reward, he was taken to their sacred city, a city built from solid gold. Later, when Esteban tried to find the city again,
scam!
He never could.
I'm telling you,
but
it's
the
a
legend
scam.
grew. and every explorer came to the New World in search of it. When General Custer's search for gold ended with his last stand at Little Bighorn, it became clear none would ever find it.
Ben, can you imagine if the Confederates got their hands on the city of gold? My God.
Hey, what would be so bad about the Confederates getting their hand on the city of gold? Better than the Yankees getting their hands on the city of on the map to the city of gold. All right, you got a new wheel. That's a new wheel.
It is.
Oh, okay. We booted the old wheel because it kept turning up threes.
Caller number 5.
Caller number 5. Caller number 5. Later on today, you hear that clip from National Treasure played back. You be caller number 5, and if you go to winapoundofgold.com or to mikechurch.com or my YouTube channel, youtube.com /@RealKingDude, you will see the, if you watch the daily highlight clip of the day from YouBoob, yesterday's, you will see the Easter egg embedded in there with today's secret code word. So if you are caller number 5 and you have that code word, I'm going to give you 2 Golden True tickets to win my Troy pound of gold. It doesn't take an army of tickets. It only takes 1. Chris Payne, our winner last year, had 5. So 4 of his tickets didn't work, but the one that did netted him 36 grand, which is worth 52 grand in gold today. And we are going to give that gold away on July the 2nd. You should get your tickets now, because there is a chance that this thing actually does catch on like it did last year, and tickets start going fast and we sell out. So get your ticket today, become an affiliate as well, because as soon as you buy your ticket, you're an affiliate. And then you can go to the affiliate tab at winapoundofgold.com, get your unique link, or make your own links. You can put your own name and stuff in there if you want. And then send your link out to your friend. Anytime your friend buys a ticket, if they buy 10, you get a free ticket. And then after they buy 20, you get another free ticket, and you get upgraded to 20% commission. And then after that, you get a free ticket for every 5 Golden True tickets you sell. So go to winapoundofgold.com, share it with all your friends and family. Don't you want your friends and family? And look, be a part of something big, huge, definitely huge. Be a part of something big, bigger than you and bigger than me. And this little entity here is saying we will not go softly into that good night and be bought out by anyone. And we're going to do mortal combat with the bad guys as long as we have breath and people that will buy Golden True tickets like that and support us. So, winapoundofgold.com. Thank you in advance. People think it's not serious. It's like literally life or death. Okay. Trump just changed the conversation about Iran from Andrew Day. Trump's latest two-step waging a brutal war against Iran to the delight of America's most fanatical Iran hawks. By the way, I have a telephone right there. It's right there, literally. And it's an actual analog, old-school telephone. Actually, if I pick it up, dial tone will come out of it. When's the last time any one of you humans out there heard a dial tone? That'd be funny, Maggie. We should just put the phone on there, and you should just hit line 1 and let people hear a dial tone, because you don't get a dial tone on a cell phone.
Nope.
You don't even know what a dial tone sounds like. We could make that the soundbite of the day. Dial tone. In any event, the number to call that on one of these is 844. Oh, you want to see my screensaver? It's a nativity. 844-527-8723. 844-5-Crusade. Mrs. O'Connell, one of 5 producers that have been loaned to Megyn Kelly, so she's the sole survivor here, was telling me during the timeout and asking me questions about Catholic doctrine and about certain things. And I said, oh, you have neocons in the Sensus Fidelium chat. Neocons I can handle. No problem there. I have been doing mortal combat with neocons since 2008. And by the way, big guy, you're not the first one Hey, what are you, pro-Islam? Oh, yeah. You know what? I just go to Catholic Mass on Sundays and High Holy Feast days to fake it. I just do it to convince people like you that I'm a Catholic. I am secretly throwing the prayer mat down and bowing to Allah. I do it every day. And yes, I am secretly pro-Islam. Gee, what an original dig. What an original criticism. I've never heard it before. Please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Please don't hurt me and say it in public ever again. Please, I'll never get over it. My career. Since I worked with the Ron Paul campaign in 2008 and 2012, dude, there's no name you can call me. When I stopped being one of you and a neocon, there is no name that you can call me. And by the way, you know, Mark Levin did an entire show back in 2012 all about me. And he called me an Islam lover. Then he called me a backbenching leftard. You know why? Because some of us were saying that President Obama, not Bush, President Obama needed to go through Congress to bomb brown people in foreign countries, and that his buddy Jeffrey Lord saying that, oh, Thomas Jefferson did it without a congressional approval. This is a presidential tradition. No, it's not. And by the way, not only did Jefferson ask permission from the Congress in 1802 and 1803, in the first instance, he actually had the letter in his hand, and he goes, should I walk it down there and hand it to him? And I forget who it was. He goes, no, you don't have to go down there. And he goes, yeah, but I want to explain it to him. And they said, no, just send the letter. And the letter exists extant. Jefferson said, I wish to do military action against the Barbary Coast pirates of Tripoli. And I wish for you to sanction it and to appropriate $80,000, I think it was $80,000, to appropriate $80,000 to the endeavor and then put me in charge of the United States Marines. And they did, through Congress. So yes, charges of being an Islam lover and a neocon, or a whatever it is, whatever name it is that you're calling me. Yeah, heard it all, bro.
Call in, buddy.
Call the line right there. Why don't you tell me why I'm an Islam lover, or and all of you that think that, because you won't go along. The Iranians are the biggest state sponsor of terrorism all across the world. No, the United States is the largest sponsor of terrorism. We're the ones that blow people up in countries that you can't point to on a map. We're the ones that lob cruise missiles that land in little girls' schools in Tehran. We're the ones that send munitions and money and permission slips to the Israelis to completely and totally annihilate the Gaza Strip and most of Palestine. We're the ones that also stand by the Israelis wipe from the face of the earth Catholic churches and holy places, sacred places, like they're trying to do right now and they're threatening to do in Lebanon. So go ahead. That's all you got? When did your channel suddenly become pro-Islam? Oh, I just love that. Love that. They also love to say there's no such thing as just war theory when it comes to terrorism. Oh, you're a pacifist. Yeah. You know what? I bet St. Augustine was a pacifist. You know what? Hey, let's talk about some Catholic saints for just a moment. When the Visigoths had Tagaste basically surrounded, where St. Augustine was the bishop of Hippo, rather. He was born in Tagaste. When they had Hippo surrounded, you know what Augustine did? Pacifist, sissy loser. You know what he did? He said he sent a note out, and while the note was on its way to the Sultan or whoever the guy, the HMF NIC was of those that had Hippo surrounded, Augustine went, I'm just going to go and talk to the dude because he was a pacifist. And Augustine went out and he had a meeting with the guy and he goes, what do you want? And he goes, I want your city. And Augustine said, well, the people that are in behind those walls are mine to protect and you can't have it. And the guy said, well, I'm going to take it then. And Augustine said, please don't take it. Please, there's no need for people to die. You don't have to come in here and rape and rob and maraud and what have you here. And Augustine then worked basically a settlement out with him. And the city ultimately did fall, but not as many people had to be butchered in the process. That would make Augustine a pacifist, too. Why don't we talk about St. Gregory? I think it's St. Gregory the Great. Who was the St. Gregory that met Attila the Hun on the other side of the bridge that leads to Rome and said, I'm here on God's behalf. I speak on behalf of God. Please don't invade Rome. And I'm sure Attila the Hun went, hey, dude, I'm a Hun. I don't pray to your God. And our saintly Pope said, yeah, but there's innocent people over there. And he basically negotiated that, okay, Attila the Hun ultimately was swayed and went back to Mongolia. That Pope was a pacifist. What a sissy he was. I mean, my goodness. There's no answer to this that ends in war. War is a last resort. It's the last thing that it's not the first thing that you do, it's the last thing that you do. And then it's only done when you have a clear indication that you have an end of it in sight. You do not fight a war, and it's not a just war, if you don't know how it will conclude or have an idea that it can be brought to a conclusion because you could be successful. That is the only way. There's no indication that anyone other than the liars in the government of Israel, Mossad and the Marxists, because they are Marxist Zionists here in the U.S. government, in their fantastical, in their fantasies, are the only people who said, oh, no, there's a way to, no, it'll end with the people of Iran taking over the government and all will be peace. And then Israel will come in and will be big partners and then the streets will be paved with gold and sugar plum drops will fall from the sky for the children of Iran to eat and Israel. That was a lie, and that's how it began. So, call all the names you want. You know, that when the history books are ultimately written about this horrible, horrible epic in time, those of you on the war side are going to be the bad guys in the narrative. You're the bad guys. So enjoy while it is, enjoy while brown people are being bombed, half of the or a third of the infrastructure of an entire civilization that predates ours, predates most civilizations in the world, has been destroyed. Enjoy. Enjoy J.D. Vance giving $300 billion away to the same Iranians, by the way. Is J.D. Vance pro-Islam now? No, and then Vance said, oh, no, it's not our money. It's not taxpayer money. No. It comes from the Gulf Coast. What is he call it? The Gulf Coast?
Gulf Coast Coalition.
Gulf Coast Coalition. I live here in the South, and we have a GCCC here, but it is for people that fish for striped or for speckled trout and redfish. Is that where they got the money? What number is that? That is...
Number 3.
Oh, Play Digital Media Fund number 3. I think we should find out about this $300 billion fund, don't you? I'm interested. You should be, too.
Walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, and that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see.
I already had confidence they weren't going to have a nuclear
the Iranian
weapon.
Media, especially the
I don't have any
media,
now.
They're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for.
No, it's the Gulf Coast Conservation Fund. People buy a fishing license in Louisiana, Mississippi, and part of that goes to Iranian restoration. Gee, man, I get all kind of bang from my wildlife and fisheries duckies. A great deal. Why do you think they chose J.D. Vance for the go out and sell the $300 billion giveaway to the Iranians? By the way, it is said that Barack Hussein Obama, it is said that dear leader Chairman Mao Obama, what chump change was he playing with? He only gave the Iranians a measly $10 billion. Remember Trump campaigning and Obama filled that plane up and that plane landed in Tehran. With billions of dollars, your dollars, on that plane, he funded state-sponsored terrorism. We funded it. Obama funded it. He gave him $10 billion. I'll never give Iran. They'll never have a nuke. They're not going to get a dime. We're going to starve them to the sanctions out the proverbial wazoo. No one's ever seen any sanction like it. Now, I'm one of these stupid pacifist people that thinks that we ought to have George Washington's friendly and amicable trade relations and relations with all and entangling alliances with none. This many.
0.0.
Was Washington a pacifist? I rather like this pacifist line of interregnum. By the by, I am also, and I have written and narrated a feature or two about it, I'm also a strong and ardent supporter and defender to this day of that action that happened in the year 1095, which was begun by Pope Urban II, called the First or the Great Crusade. Totally just war, Christians being massacred, holy sites in the Holy Land being threatened or destroyed, and the men that fought in the First Crusade volunteered. They volunteered their own lives, their own fortunes. They made their own armor, their own weapons. It wasn't an army that was raised. It was a virtual army of citizens and noblemen that went and fought the First Crusade, a complete and total just war. And if we ever had to do it again, I would be going like, where do I sign? Would you? Asking for a friend.
I think I'll go to sleep and dream about piles of gold getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Here's a piles and piles of gold fun fact. In 1971, if D.B. Cooper had jumped out of an airplane with $200,000 worth of gold instead of U.S. currency, he would have $25.4 million in gold bullion today. Now, we don't know where D.B. Cooper's money is, but we do know that Mike Church has 1 troy pound of gold in his safe and that he's going to give it away on July 2nd. And you don't have to jump out of an airplane to win it.
Win Mike Church's Pound of Gold. Tickets on sale now exclusively at winapoundofgold.com. D.B. Cooper and Cocaine Bear parachutes sold separately.
The Crusade Channel and the slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Filomena with your Saint of the Day. Today is the feast of Saint Vitus, who was martyred in the year 303. Saint Vitus, whose name can also be Guido or Guy, G-U-Y, was a child saint. He had been entrusted by his pagan parents to the care of a Catholic nurse, Crescentia, and her husband, Modestus. They secretly baptized him and brought him up as a Catholic. When his father found this out, he used his best endeavors to dissuade his son from the Christian religion, but as he found him persistent in it, he handed him over to Valerian, the judge, to be whipped. But as he still remained as unshaken as before, he was given back to his father. But while his father was turning over in his mind to what severe discipline to subject him, Vitus, being warned by an angel, fled to another country, Sicily, in company with Modestus and Crescentia, who had brought him up. There he gained great praise for holiness, so that his fame reached Diocletian. The emperor therefore sent for him to deliver his own child that was vexed by a devil. Vitus delivered him, but when the emperor found that with all his gifts he could not bring him to worship the gods, he had the ingratitude to cast him, as well as Modestus and Crescentia, into prison, binding them with fetters. All three, Vitus, Crescentius, and Modestus, are honored by the Catholic Church as saints. Saint Vitus is one of the 14 holy helpers. He is the protector against nervous diseases, epilepsy, and paralysis. He is also the protector against the nervous disorder known as Saint Vitus's dance. It is also the feast of Saint Germaine Cousson, who died in the year 1601. She was the daughter of a poor farmer who lived near Toulouse in France. She was born with a deformed hand and was afflicted with the disease of scrofula. Her mother died when she was an infant. She died when she was only 22 years old. She is beloved in southern France even to this day, especially in the town of Toulouse. This is the town where St. Dominic had been given the rosary in the year 1214 by the Virginal Mother of God. Saints Vitus, Modestus, and Crescentia, and Saint Germaine Cousson, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the lives of today's saints. Tomorrow's saint is St. John Francis Regis. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and contribute to the building of our convent by visiting stphilomena.convent.org. I'm Sister Maria Filomena, and until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, has been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to mikechurch.com/dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's mikechurch.com/dude and join America's morning show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's mikechurch.com/dude. This June, The Mike Church Show will give away the most incredible prize in broadcast history and change the way the world thinks about talk media and talk media hosts forever. The Mike Church Show is presented for the exclusive use of the renegade outlaws known to the leftards as muscle car lovers.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the war in the Persian Gulf. Big doings in the Persian Gulf. You know my favorite part of that war? It's the first war we ever had that was on every channel plus cable. And the war got good ratings too, didn't it? Got good ratings. Well, we like war. We like war. We're a warlike people. We like war because we're good at it. And you know why we're good at it? Because we get a lot of practice. This country's only 200 years old, and already we've had 10 major wars. We average a major war every 20 years in this country, so we're good at it. And it's a good thing we are. We're not very good at anything else anymore. Huh? Can't build a decent car, can't make a TV set or a VCR worth of Got no steel industry left, can't educate our young people, can't get health care to our old people, but we can bomb the shit out of your country, all right? Huh? We can bomb the shit out of your country, all right? Especially if your country is full of brown people. Oh, we like that, don't we? That's our hobby. That's our new job in the world, bombing brown people. Iraq, Panama, Grenada, Libya, you got some brown people in your country. Tell them to watch the f*** out, or we'll goddamn bomb them. Well, when's the last white people you can remember that we bombed? Can you remember the last white? Can you remember any white people we've ever bombed? The Germans, those are the only ones, and that's only because they were trying to cut in on our action. They wanted to dominate the world. Bullshit, that's our f***ing job. Optimism, the Sultan of Sapientia, the Dauphin of Due Diligence. Marcus Tullius Meridius Maximus Augustus here on a Tuesday. Now look, you people. I am here to convey the message and the good news here. You know what, Maggie, I want to send you an image. I haven't had a chance to brand it yet, but I found this. It's really... You want to see what an actual gold round, a American Eagle gold round looks like? I have a close-up picture of it because people like them pictures. And I found it because I was blousing around yesterday, and I'm going like, no, that's not the one I want, that's not the one I want, that's not the one, that's the one that I want. And of course now I can't find it, so I'll probably during the next time out. But you can win 12 of those. Chris Payne of Kentucky is a real dude. You know, if it came down to it, I could plead with him. He'd call the show and he goes, "Yeah, I was a real guy. Yes, I won the gold. Yes, Mike and Maggie sent it to me. Yes, I still have it." We have a video on the Win a Pound of Gold website that shows you. I think you should get really excited about being part of something that's huge. Imagine this little outfit here, and we've teamed up with Sensus Fidelium and my buddy Steve Cunningham, who I've known for almost 20 years now. And Steve and I have set a goal. We want to do something big, like what Mr. Beast would do on YouTube. Oh, let's give a pound of gold away. And let's say that we're limited the tickets to 10,000, which is a lot of tickets. Wouldn't it be cool if these two upstarts here were able to actually accomplish this and go nanya boo boo to all the bigs out there that work for Ben Shapiro, for example? I think it would be cool, but it's not going to happen if you don't take it seriously that when we do fundraising, we don't do it so that we can live lavishly around here.
I have the Chris Payne video if you want me to play it.
You got the Chris Payne video? All right. Just to show, especially new listeners and viewers, that no, it's a real dude and the gold is real.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm last year's winner from the Mike Church Show's Win a Pound of Gold contest. Don't believe me? Check out the gold that the King Dude sent me last year. If you want to try to keep me from being a two-P.
Jordan with 2 seconds to go, puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago.
Then get your Golden Truth tickets today at winapoundofgold.com.
So there is Chris Payne. Get your tickets from winapoundofgold.com, and you also become an affiliate at that point. And then you can get your own custom link that is tracked and linked to your affiliate account. Every time someone of your friends buys a ticket, and no, this is not a multi-level marketing scam. It's just a way for you to participate in the contest in a greater way, and then you get to earn more Golden True tickets and more chances to win. So that's how the game works. So become an affiliate today by getting your ticket and getting 10 for Uncle Bobo and Aunt Ruthie at winapoundofgold.com. It's got to be that second yellow button or one of that. That's it.
Now it's there again.
All right. There was a crash yesterday on the B-52, and people are trying to figure out how this B-52 crashed. And it's a conspiracy. There was someone on board they were trying to kill. Or they loaded the cargo wrong and didn't strap it down. That's what happened last time this happened in 1994. They put a bunch of cargo, a ginormous plane. They put a bunch of cargo on it, and maybe they strapped it down and the strap broke, but it didn't get strapped down properly. When the plane went into a bank after it took off, what happened was that the cargo shifted. When the cargo shifted to one side of the plane, all that weight, tons and tons and tons of weight, the plane could not recover, went into a stall, and went straight down. And then hits the ground and just disintegrates, basically, into a giant black scorched earth pit as it looks. So it's tragedy of epic proportions, and I'm sure that that there'll be an investigation. And the only reason I know this is because several people, a couple of pilots pointed out that no, that it's not as shady as you think that it is. It has actually happened before, almost identically. So that's probably what happened. And this was it took off at California's Edwards Air Force Base, and it is a tragedy. So I'm not trying to downplay that it's a tragedy. Colonel James Hayes called the crash tragic and unsurvivable. In a press conference on Monday, Hayes said the plane was doing a test mission. Hayes said the aircraft went down immediately after takeoff and the crash was contained within the Air Force Base. Hayes mentioned it will take several months to determine a cause for the crash, but said multiple tests like the one that led to the crash happen every day. There were 8 people on it, right?
Yes.
There were eight souls on that. Eternal rest grant unto them, O God, let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. That's a horrible tragedy. All right, what's here? Play digital media file number 1. Rather than me giving you the Trump report as Trump, let's get it from Trump. I'm here with Emmanuel Macron. The last time a U.S. president was here was Biden, and he wandered off into the woods. He was saved by Giorgio Meloni.
You said number 1 or number 2?
Number 1. Giorgio Meloni saved Biden, or he would have wandered off a cliff over there last time he was in Europe here, but I'm not here to wander. I'm here to make deals like Monty Hall. Like Monty Hall. The great TV show. We're here to Let's Make a Deal.
Mr. President, when will the text of the MOU be released?
I think pretty soon. I would say, I want it to be released because it's a very powerful document. It's not like the Obama document, which was just a terrible document. This is a very powerful document.
Terrible. It's
I
terrible.
want it to be released, so probably pretty soon. I would say sometime after Friday, because the strait opens completely. It's open now, but it opens completely. We'll have all the mines knocked out of, for the most part. We have a lot of lanes right now already.
Mr. President.
So I think sometime in the very near future, yeah.
And what he's talking about is there's a lot of lanes, I think. There's a lot of lanes. Notice that when he is not trying to, when he's not trying to control the conversation, because Macron was sitting next to him, you notice that he grabs his hands instead of spreading them apart? It's when he moves to take control of a conversation that he does this. Rodney Gaines comes in, Tucker's finished. Mark Levin is the great one. Mike Church will never get an interview, never. By the by, it just for those of you that are fans of the movie Idiocracy, you have to see the UFC fight Sunday night at the White House. Somebody made an Idiocracy 2 movie poster out of it, and Trump was President Macho Camacho Mountain Hector Mountain Dew. Wait, he had two names. Hector Mountain Dew.
He had more than that.
Mountain Dew Doritos. Macho Camacho. I named Trump Dwayne Alzando Mountain Dew Camacho. Well, I named Trump Dwayne Big Mac Diet Coke Trump. Why? Because I like Diet Coke. It's got aspartame. RFK, what's in the aspartame? Speaking of RFK Jr., now I'm just going to babble on for a minute now. Was there a video? Was he handling a snake yesterday?
Who?
RFK Jr.
Oh, that was a couple of days ago. He had two black racers or whatever at his place, and his wife sent him out to go get them. That was a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, actually.
And he just wrangled a black racer?
Went out there and just grabbed them both and relocated them.
You know, if you live in the Deep South, black racers, there's a very good chance if it's hot and you're on a road, or it can even be a dirt road, but if it's been baked in the sun and you're walking on it or riding your bike or whatever, there is a chance that you will come across a black racer. And they're skinny little guys. But here's the deal. They're totally harmless unless you cross one and then run away from it. If you ever cross a black racer, just stop. Let it go do its black racer business. It'll keep going in the same direction, and it won't look back. If you come across it, get scared, and then run the other direction, it's going to chase you, and it's going to bite you in the ARSE. And people are going like, that's not true. You're just me. I'm like, okay. I guarantee you there's somebody listening or watching right now that's going like, yep. Had it happen to me. What else do we have? Okay, we talked about this yesterday. The JPCOA deal with Obama. And then the Trump team said, oh, no, this is a totally different deal. You're right. It cost 30 times more. And you destroyed hundreds of billions of dollars more stuff. So there's another one that J.D. Vance was sent out. Now, you got now, J.D., be prepared. You're going to go out there and you have to sell this deal. And you have to make it so that it sounds better than the JCPOA. It has to sound better than Obama's deal. So, digital media file number 5. He has to go out and he tries his best.
And I'd ask the president, the former president, I'd say, Obama, why in the world, if it's the same thing, why is it that the Gulf Arabs hated your deal and they love our deal? They are the ones who are in the region. They know what it means to enrich the worst terrorist regime in the world, and they also know what it means to turn over a new leaf and to go to a different future. So I think President Obama, he should acknowledge that the people who are closest to this, they love the Trump deal, they hate the Obama deal, and that's maybe the biggest endorsement of this plan.
Or maybe it's because it's more money.
They hated the Obama deal and they love the Trump deal. Do you know who hated the Obama deal? Neocons. Decepticons, as I call them. That's who hated the Obama deal. What did the Obama deal have in it? Iran must not acquire or try and build a nuclear weapon. That is literally what it said. Not figuratively. I'm not rounding up here. That is literally what it said. That's right. Nobody's ever seen a grift bigger than this one, Sean. Sean, this is the biggest one ever. It's the biggest one. Alphonse Capone couldn't have done this big of a grift. I'm giving the Iranians $300 billion. We're going to rebuild their infrastructure. We're going to make Iran great again. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And if we could just keep the damn Israelis from bombing Hezbollah, we'll be fine. Trump actually was asked about this yesterday. And to his credit, he actually said, well, I don't know why the Israelis aren't trying to talk to the Hezbollah. He goes, I think they all need to sit down, they all need to talk. So all of a sudden now, Trump is signaling, because I believe what happened is that the braggadocio and the bravado is worn off. And he is actually having people going like, no, dude, your poll numbers are like the worst in the history of Earth. Your approval rating is the worst. And there's no CNN poll to bail you out this time. You need to bring this thing to, apparently, stupid people in America that are pacifist, idiot losers, that are Islamists, as I was called earlier, want us to continue fighting this, don't want us to continue fighting this war for goodness, mom, apple pie, justice in America. Speaking of, somebody asked me about this show. I know it was my sister asked me about this. She goes, you heard anything about this meeting that happened in the Situation Room about the Epstein files? And I said, yes. And she said, well, Maggie Haberman is the one that wrote it. I said, yes. I hadn't gotten around to talking about it. I did see it, and because it came out on the 10th. So that was last Wednesday. Inside the White House freakout over the Epstein files is the actual New York Times story. President's top advisors gathered in a series of Situation Room meetings as they struggled to contain a scandal engulfing Donald Trump himself. And she says, her and Jonathan Swan, on July 17, 2025, around 6 o'clock in the evening, President Trump's top officials filed into the White House Situation Room. The secure bunker where classified and high-stakes national security matters are discussed and decided. This was where Obama, along with Vice President Biden, Hillary Clinton, and the president's national security team watched the raid that ended with the death of Osama bin Laden in 2011, if that actually happened. Now, however, Trump's most senior advisors had gathered without him to figure out how to gain some measure of control over a very different kind of crisis, threatening to engulf the presidency, the Epstein files. 10 days earlier, the Injustice Department and the Catholic-hating FBI had jointly released a memo that bluntly stated that their review had found no client list of powerful men for whom the notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein had allegedly procured underage girls and young women, intended to put to rest years of speculation and end the pressure campaign. Do you believe that these two stooges, that Patel and Bongino, were actually in on this? It is this team of podcast and poor media influencers that are running Trump 2.0. You know, the further away we get from this, the more I tend to think that all the stuff that was said about Elon and why they got rid of Elon was just cover. And that Elon's not stupid. He apparently knows a little bit about running business, at least as much as Trump does. He's made more money than Trump has in business. Yeah, but he got subsidies. True. All true. True story. The SpaceX IPO has outperformed the wildest predictions by 35% so far. Tesla is shipping a record amount of cars, more than they are beating their expectations. So it appears as though Elon may actually have a handle on business. Did Elon see things that were going on inside Doge and inside the early Trump administration? Did he ring the bell? And did he tell the president, I think that this is, Mr. President, I think that this is wrong. I think that there may be people that are working against your agenda. And did Trump take his advice initially? And then did Elon get pushed out? I bet there will be books written about this. Because you remember, the first thing that Elon says after he gets pushed out is Trump's in the Epstein files. And all of us go, well, you're just jealous. This sour grape, she's not in there. He's in there because he's mentioned because he dropped the dime on Epstein. Apparently that's not the case. So they meet in the Situation Room, and they're there to discuss this. Intended to put to rest years of speculation, blah, blah, blah. The memo instead had the opposite effect, setting off a backlash that was notably loud among the MAGA base. And it was about to get worse. The Wall Street Journal was preparing a damaging article about Trump's relationship with Epstein. The president's desperate attempts to kill the story had failed. His team now had to get everyone on the same page about how to counter the growing swarm of attention. They needed a gesture of transparency to appease an increasingly angry base, but also a way to convey the message that the president was sympathetic to his supporters' concerns, which itself was a problem because he clearly wasn't. Vice President Vance took a seat at the head of the table in the JFK conference room. This is a huge problem, he told the group. Around him were Susie Wiles, David Warrington, Caroline Levitt, Taylor Budowich, Steve Chung, Todd Blanche, Stanley Woodward, James Blair, Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel, joined on speakerphone. The vice president appeared panicked to others in the room about the way the subject of Epstein was already dividing the MAGA coalition. Now, let's just stop right here. We can talk to Dr. Deep State about some of this next segment. Why was the base divided? Why? Because there was a smoking gun.
World more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop. Isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no! Get your hands off of me! You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up! Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence. John Adams and Thomas Paine were not exactly the best of friends, but as our timeline has shown us, when it came to the question of declaring independence, the two were soulmates. Now, let's travel to another colony where lifelong friends will work secretly to establish the legislative body that will declare our independence. This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
You're listening to the Crusade Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property. Broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via crusadechannel.com. We don't know if there's gold in the hills of Dahlonega, Georgia, but we do know there's a pound of gold in the Mike Church Vault, and all you have to do to win it is listen for the golden sound of the day. Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. on The Mike Church Show at MikeChurchShow.com and on YouTube at Real King Dude. Mike Church Show News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different. like a symphony of facts.
And now, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Tuesday, June the 16th, 2026. I'm Janet Huxley at the Mike Church Show News Desk, live from the ranch in Kansas City. This report is brought to you by the Golden Truth Ticket Sweepstakes. Get your Gold Fruit tickets today at winapoundofgold.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. Oil prices are beginning to drop following the agreement between U.S. and Iran to end the war. Iran's state-run media spins it another way, though. 8 believed dead after B-52 crashes shortly after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base. Germany vows to become a more powerful military force, and left-wing distraction of Trump's UFC event fails as bitter celebrities are mocked online. President Donald Trump said yesterday Iran has agreed never to develop or possess a nuclear weapon. The president also dismissed reports that the United States would pay Iran, calling the false claim and blaming Democrats for spreading the story. Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon, Trump said in a post shared to Truth Social. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news, put out by the Democrats, he said. The Islamic Republic of Iran's state-run media is promoting the Memorandum of Understanding with the U.S. to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, addressing Tehran's illicit nuclear weapons program as its triumph over the U.S. and Israel. The major diplomatic breakthrough, known as its initials MOU, is slated to be sealed at a signing ceremony on June 19th in Switzerland. Iranian state-controlled TV boasted that the U.S. is forced to sign agreement to end the war. 8 crew members are believed to have been killed after a U.S. Air Force B-52 Stratofortress crashed shortly after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base in Kern County, California, yesterday. The bomber was carrying 8 people on a routine test mission when it went down on the Edwards Airfield about 11:20 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time, according to the base. Edwards Air Force Base in California and Air Force Pentagon headquarters referred questions to the initial announcement of the crash and declined to provide additional details. The B-52 typically operates with a crew of 5, including 2 pilots, a radar navigator, and electronic warfare officer. Our quote of the day: a great means to preserve continual peace and tranquility of soul is to receive everything from the hands of God, both great and small, and in whatever way it comes. St. Dorotheus. Coming up, a look at more headlines. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church Show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My Dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
You can learn all about today's saint in the Saint of the Day podcast, From the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart Sisters, by listening or downloading at crusadechannel.com/saint. Now look at more headlines. Germany is pledging to become a more powerful military force inside NATO. With Berlin's ambassador to Washington telling Fox News, the country is ready to assume greater responsibility for European security after decades in which the United States carried much of the alliance's military burden. Germany is stepping up. We heard the call, German ambassador to the United States, Jens Hanfield, told Fox News in an exclusive interview. The political left's attempt to counter-program President Donald Trump's UFC event on the White House lawn Sunday night ended in widespread online mockeries of celebrities and media personalities who publicly complained and have been complaining about President Donald Trump for a decade. The event, called Rise Up, Sing Out, a concert for the First Amendment, was hosted by far-left activist and actress Jane Fonda. Bette Midler, 80 years old now, took center stage to perform her own rendition of Woody Guthrie's All You Fascists Bound to Lose. Backed by 4 other singers, she changed some of the lyrics to the song to make it anti-ICE themed, of course. The response is, "Shoo, I just saw a bunch of literal fascists getting ready to take down the country, but luckily, Bette Midler and her super powerful squad stopped them at the gate. LOL." One popular ex-user said. Another post criticized Midler as another one of the dusty relics who peaked decades ago, who performed at the anti-Trump show. These people aren't just out of touch, they're clinically insane, the post said. Read all about the pushback on Fox. I'm Janet Huxley for The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
I think I'll go to sleep and dream about piles of gold getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Here's a piles and piles of gold fun fact. In 1971, if D.B. Cooper had jumped out of an airplane with $200,000 worth of gold instead of U.S. currency, he would have $25.4 million in gold bullion today. Now, we don't know where D.B. Cooper's money is, but we do know that Mike Church has 1 troy pound of gold in his safe and that he's going to give it away on July 2nd. And you don't have to jump out of an airplane to win it.
Win Mike Church's Pound of Gold. Tickets on sale now exclusively at winapoundofgold.com. DB Cooper and Cocaine Bear parachutes sold separately.
Okay, here we go to the Golden Truth Tickets Dude Maker Winner Hotline. Caller number 4. Number 4, who's this?
This is Ann Dolan.
Ann Dolan is the big winner today. That says she's allowed to win it because I hear her getting instructions in the background from her husband.
Michael.
That's right. I'm not getting my hands on it.
He's sitting there and he's plotting it. He goes, what happens if she wins and she tries to fly town with it?
That's right. Now there are 3 grandkids, though.
So, Ann Dolan, what would you do with the $52,000?
Well, we are building our house finally.
Oh.
We're in the process, so I would definitely put it towards the house because the price of everything has really gone up since we started this project.
Ann Dolan, congratulations. And I understand that I think you have the secret code word from the Mike Church Show Daily Highlight Reel video of the day. What is it?
It is Dead President.
It is Dead President. You too could be next, our next big winner in the Golden Truth Ticket 2026 at goldentruthticket.com. Thanks for listening and playing.
Hey, Mrs. McGillicuddy, don't be a satellite radio snob and pass by the Mike Church Show. Come on in and browse.
May I help you?
Oh, no thanks, just browsing.
How long do you intend to browse?
Well, that lady there, you didn't ask her how long she intends to browse. How come you're asking us how long we intend to browse?
You don't look like browsers.
Now that that's over,
How about a Fresca?
the Mike Church Show, entertaining browsers and fans since 1992 on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
It's the synthesis of all AI tyrannies. Generalissimo of the Airborne 1776 Squadron Battalion of Truth Bombers. On land, sea, and on air, the Mike Church Show is on here on a Tuesday. This portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store. Okay, look, you ladies, where did all my gal shoppers go? Where are you? Did all the lady shoppers leave with Megyn Kelly's 5 producers that left? I'm asking for a friend. Because you know you can get you proselytized for Uncle Bobo and for your husband and your daddy and your grandpa. You know that you can get, if you get 2 bags of coffee for Father's Day, and if you do it today, you go right now to shop.mikechurch.com. Maggie will get you boxed up, and I will bring it to the post office. And it'll be on its way, and it will more than likely get to you on either Thursday or Friday. Problem solved. You didn't have to give your money to the Walton family. Why would you do that anyway? So, too many other great gifts to tell you about. Start with proselytize. I have one of mine on here today. 16 different varieties. Although I think we sold out of the St. Michael because Maggie came and snagged my sample yesterday and threw it in somebody's box. So, but don't worry, there's 15 other varieties there. Shop.mikechurch.com. Spend $70. I'll pay for the shipping too. What a great deal that is. So, shop.mikechurch.com. Go shop right now. There's a Father's Day section right at the top of the homepage. You can't miss it. Shop.mikechurch.com. Let us go to the StreamYard Maker Hotline here and say hello to... Now, let me make sure I got all of my ducks in a row here because I do. Dr. Deep State. Now, do I call you Dr. Deep State, Dr. Haugen, or do I call you Dr. Hogan, or is it Haugen?
You got it with the Haugen, and Dr. Deep State, or it's totally fine.
Well, I was reading your bio, and I'm going like, well, how does one become Dr. Deep State? It's like a Marvel Cinematic Universe mystery here, right? Because every great character has a great origin story. So what's the origin story? I heard you tell Steve Cunningham a small version of it. So just, you know, the kind of what the genesis was behind.
I'll tell you what I'm up to, yeah. I started it 9 years ago. I am a doctor, PhD of political science. And so I like that deep state stuff in political science. There's actually literature on it. And another thing I'm interested in, the rise and fall of empire. And that's where kind of scripture and the secular world come together. And I had a number of gigs around major universities in the States. And I'd finished up one down at the Mississippi State. And I had all this material, and a lot of job hunts weren't interested. And that was just the time that this term, the deep state, I think it was Trump at the time, threw that term out, fake news and the deep state. And I thought, I think people are ready for like a scholarly treatment of this. And my ultimate, kind of pull people in. I started this as a course on what is actually the deep state outside of the cartoon version that's usually given to us. And it was kind of a joke for several years. People didn't really, in mainstream media or beyond, really start taking it as it's a real thing until just a few years ago. But where I was going with it is that the deep state is ultimately spiritual. And there's a spiritual battle that when one probes the depths of the deep state, we're talking about a spiritual battle that I call a cosmic conspiracy against God and man and Christ and his church. So I still have it because I think that insight into the current dynamics of politics in the world give us insights, in some cases even into the deep church and what's going on and what is our part in all of this grand, what I call cosmic conspiracy against God and man and Christ and his church.
I'll just call you Doc. How about that? You know what, Doc?
That can fly. That can fly.
I was
just my name correctly, it's Haugen.
Dr. Haugen. I was just talking about this yesterday, and this is something that runs a constant. I've been at this for 35 years professionally, and I've been at it since my reversion to the faith for 14 years. And one constant runs through the affairs, as Jefferson would say, in the course of human events, especially in American human events. The war is always on, and it's always against the church. Whether they actually say it's against Catholics and Catholicism, it's always against Catholics and Catholicism. Sometimes it takes on the patina or the veneer of, no, they're after this or they're after that. Well, at the end of the day, what they're really trying to get to, and what the modern world is really trying to do, is rid us of Christ and his church. And so the war is, and this is what the deep state fights. This is what did you said, the deep state, and then the deep church. What, the deep church?
Oh, that's Vigano's term.
The deep church is, and I think that Vigano has, Vigano Archbishop Maria Vigano suffers a lot. Carlos Vigano, he suffers a lot over this because he says those things, and the people go, you can't say that. You can't do that. There's a great history of what we would call a scholarly gentleman, what we would call disputations inside Catholicism, the Catholic Church. People maybe don't know this. St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Bonaventure were like rivals. Like, you're wrong. Yeah. No, you're wrong. Now, it wasn't on a matter of dogma, but there were disagreements, and there still are disagreements. But the war is on. The deep state is definitely after Catholics. We know this. And at the end of the day, all evil is directed at Christ. All evil is directed at him and his church. And he told us that that's the way it would happen. So we should just own up to it and stop complaining about it.
Yeah, I hear you. I could frame it another way.
Okay.
By the way, I have a channel over there on YouTube, and I can tell you, in my books and all that is over there. So that's called Dr. Deep State. It's kind of hard to find. I might have to type it into YouTube, but here we go. I often frame this that we are now engaged in an ontological war over reality. Ontological sounds fancy and philosophical, but it just seems the nature of being, the nature of reality. And for us Catholics, especially through, the greats like St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, we understand that all reality comes from Jesus Christ, from God, who makes and creates and sustains reality. So our being attached to it. Long story short, the fullness of reality, kind of a first glimpse of how we understand the world or the nature of the world or sort of the foundation of reality, came through us through the book of Exodus and Moses, when Moses asked God, who are you? What's your name? And he said, I am. And I think we take it for granted how foundational that is for an explosion of human consciousness in the story of humans, that it's would become like Aristotle's first mover, the source of everything. And that really situates where we're at in our understanding of the relationship of us and the cosmos and everything. So following that idea, people like Plato would say, there's really a reality beyond. He would call these the forms, the eternals. And I remember as a kid studying philosophy, it's like, no, this bed is just a kind of a counterpart of bedness. I'm like, what are you talking about? But there's a truer reality. And when we go to it in terms, we return to this reality. And it must have sounded wacky in the 4th century BC when he said this. But through Christ's incarnation, he came in, he was the Logos, the God-man that came in, showed us the face of God. If you have seen me, you have seen my Father. I'm not some disappearing absentee landlord that's so distant. You know me, you understand me. I've revealed myself through Scripture and my presence here. I became one of you and walked among you. So reality, since Christ's incarnation, death, and resurrection, it has a twofold nature. We have, it's like, the whole word meta. We have our feet on the ground, but we're part of something larger. And this we needed St. Augustine to describe. We're in the church age. This is the millennial age. We're in an inaugurated eschatology. Already not yet. We have the foot on the ground, but we have a vision into the eternal. And the wholeness of this is reality. It's both heaven and hell, the transcendent and the immanent together. And our lens, our unique Catholic lens on this, is the church itself. It is the icon, the mystical body of Christ that can put all these parts together. So I say that reality needs a context, and a perspective. And I call reality historical. The church has connected all the way back to the beginning of time, and certainly the first century as well. It's historical, hierarchical, and sacramental. And these three things are interconnected. So, for example, when we receive our sacraments, and this is exactly what the war on reality is about, we are connected at one time with the church triumphant in heaven, the church suffering in purgatory, and we are the church militant. And so that whole experience, for example, when we receive Holy Communion, we are participating in something beyond the moment, something that's pretty spectacular and can blow your mind when you really think about it. And that's unique to the Catholic Church. I'll maybe give Eastern Orthodox some credit there, but that is the war. That is what the devil wants to take away our history. That's that threads us to the past and create, whether it's the Protestant or French Revolution or the Russian, it's always destroying that historical thread. Our sacraments have to be diminished or destroyed, and eventually any memory of them. And the hierarchy is going to be inverted into the anti-church. All these are going to be inverted into the creation of an anti-church, anti-sacraments, an inverted history. And so that's what's under attack. And we can see that once you see that pattern and how the devil operates, we can see that going on right in front of our eyes today.
Dr. Haugen, also known as Dr. Deep State, on the StreamYard Maker hotline with us. You and I had a little bit of correspondence on this, and I agree with your second take and your assessment here. One of the great minds of the 20th century was Dr. Wolfgang Smith. And after Dr. Smith's conversion to the Catholic faith in the 1970s, Dr. Smith, who was one of the, quite possibly one of, if not the most brilliant quantum physicists of his age, started looking at the things that were being done by other quantum physicists and the results, or should I say the not results that they were getting. And Dr. Smith determined, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, he determined that you have to have metaphysics. You have to have that physics was missing, metaphysics. The meta is, above. And some of this stuff sounds eggheady and really like too much science. Some people go, wait a minute. I'm still trying to figure out anti-dispensationalist. Hold on. So, and we'll get to that. But what Dr. Smith was basically saying, and everyone can understand this, learn the four causes. No one goes anywhere in any endeavor without the final cause, which is also the first cause, and that God. God is ultimately the final cause is, okay, God is your... As long as you have the final cause in your equation, then, I shouldn't say as long, that's not perfection, you're going in the right direction, and there's a good chance that you will produce a result. When you remove the final cause and you put Einstein here, or you put Kepler here, or whoever, this is where you get, or Darwin, this is where you get into trouble, right?
Yeah, I have a quote here in my first book. It's called Seeing Through the Singularity. What are we seeing through? Like, what does the media tell us the singularity is? It's this magic moment when basically magic happens. We can find the right science, a myth of progress that will live forever outside of Christ and outside of grace. And I do have a quote in here by Wolfgang Smith, and I'd like to share an idea. What I did in this book, it's called Uncovering the Cosmic Conspiracy. It came out in January 2000. And I juxtaposed two things, as you were suggesting there, Mike. The telos, the end, having that in mind. Where is this ship going? Where is this ark? And we're talking this week on my channel, especially in my locals group, about the ark, which is the typology of the church, which is going to take us into the new heaven and the new earth, into eternity. So, I juxtapose two things. The Christian telos, what is the story? We're connected to the mystical body of Christ, and we're part of the temple. We are the temple. And if we're properly incorporated, we go into eternity. And this is a path created all the way from the garden, the tree of life that would become the seed of the woman. And we follow in that great chain of being, or I call it the blockchain of being. That's reality. God is being, he's all being, and we participate in God and reality through participating in his being. The opposite is called a fancy word here. It's called apophatic. We live in St. Thomas would call it in a cataphatic. We're connected to being through connection to God through the church. The opposite view would be apophatic, and that's this belief there is no God. And this is the knowledge of the tree of good and evil that will become the seed of the serpent, this, as St. Augustine would say, the city of man. And I juxtapose these two things. What's juxtaposed when you think of this story, this in scripture, and juxtapose it in secular history, the story of empires from the Babylonian Empire to the Assyrian Empire to the Greek Empire to the Anglo-American Empire. What's the story here? And I juxtaposed it with Kabbalah. This mystical Judaism, because in this belief system, and I call it the blockchain of becoming, it follows the path of the knowledge of good and evil, the mystery school operating covertly. And that message is simple: to invert the reality of being and turn it into becoming. Now, that sounds difficult to get your head around, but let me give you an example from Wolfgang Smith here at the beginning. I'm going to show you, and what this reveals is that the Bible is real. It's fundamental. The scripture is a revelation from God above, and it could be nothing else. One simple example is when we go through the biblical narrative of creation.
Okay.
And this is the ultimate reality. You've got to get Genesis right. Give
Right.
Hugh Owens and those folks credit for that. They got that right. So in the Bible, earth before sun, oceans, number 2, ocean before land, number 3, light before sun, number 4, land before plants, number 5, fruit trees before fish, number 6, fish before insects, number 7, plants before sun, number 8, birds before reptiles, number 9, atmosphere before water, number 10, God created man. So I don't know if I want to walk through this, but the opposite view that's creating the anti-church and the metaverse, where we're all going to be connected into the singularity, the Tower of Babel that they are constructing right now, and it's all the tech bros. They're all connected. They're all on the same.
All the
dark
tech
and light
bros.
path. Yeah. So the opposite, the heliocentric, that's the idea that God says we're situated. You're special in my creation. We call this geocentrism. It's never been problematized. The math all adds up. We're the center of the earth. And evolution, because they're connected, because it's part of this belief that everything is expanding and evolving, the entire universe. So under that, literally, it's the exact inversion from number 1 to 10. It could be a lot of just different here and there, but it's number 1, sun before earth, number 2, land before ocean, number 3, sun before light. And why is it the exact? And the last one is number 10, man created God, as opposed to God created man. Because what the serpent in the garden realized when he said, hey, ye shall be as gods, just come over here and follow. I have a promise for you over here. And that left-hand path is naturalism. Just when you take away all the meta, follow me, and this is going to be the left-hand path through time. And what I call is the spirit of the unknown God in my second book. Am I getting too chatty here?
No. I'm actually taking notes.
God working, it's getting to the Tower of Babel, getting to the final singularity. You're following this, we could call it Lucifer, Promethean, this progress, this myth of progress that humans without the grace of God can do it themselves. They can live forever. They can be as gods. And one of the examples here that I find fascinating, and I cited it uniquely in this book, St. Paul, when he first goes out to spread the message, the good news to the Gentiles, he sees this unknown plaque to an unknown God. Now, God had prepared many pagan cultures for the coming of Christ. And he said, what you call the unknown God, we call logos. It connects all things to the transcendent and back. And it blew some people's minds, and that became the foundation of Christian theology, because Catholicism baptized these eternal Platonic forms, and they become like the work of Augustine and on and on. At the exact same time, and this is how we have the seed of the woman, the seed of the serpent. Sometimes they're in the same womb. They're in the womb of Eve. They're in the womb of Rebecca. They come from the same place. And that's kind of how a typology that God works with. But in this case, in this kind of covenantal understanding, when God spoke, that's the unknown. For another group, it became this Neoplatonic Gnostic belief. And it's essentially what's going on is, hello, the unknown God is Christ. And at that moment, we get it. There's Christ. We get it as a form, and the Antichrist. We can just pervert through Gnostic insight, and sometimes we'll get it kind of right, and just pick away at it century at century at century until we can call it Christianity. But Gnosticism, this unknown God, is a shapeshifter, and it takes many guises throughout history, and it creates many forms of the empire of man. The final one here is technocracy, and it's this final promise of the serpent that I'm going to make a new world around, this AI vision that through this new, we've got $6 million man, we have the technology. It's finally
we
arrived.
can rebuild him.
You can get left behind or hop on for the ride. And with the next shakedown, whatever confusing things happen, another big event, a lot of people are going to be in this crisis, and they're going to probably, the Bible says, we're living in this age of a great deception. And for the sake of salvation, most people do not adequately love the truth, and they will be deceived. I'm just repeating scripture. At some moment, it seems to me like a pretty big deception is going on around us right now.
Well, let me say, we have to take a break, number one, and then it's only 3 minutes, and we'll come back. But before we do that, I paused it. I own a radio station. I can do that. Ha ha. Try that at home, podcasters. Okay.
I know it's probably supposed to be less than 5 minutes.
So, two things. There is something after technocracy. It's called Idiocracy. It's a really good movie, too. And they had part 2 at the White House Sunday. And secondly, James Corbett, who's not a Catholic, who's not a Christian, but has done a series of on his blog about the metaverse and about the importance of your book, The Metaverse. So he's actually, done it on his, I think it's for his members, his Metaverse stuff. So I've had a conversation with Brother Andre Marie about Corbett and the Metaverse, and about how either you have a Metaverse or they will give you one. Right now, the tech bros are giving us one. And for that, we'll leave that off as a jumping off place, and we'll come back with Dr. Haugen. If you have questions, because I am a question and answer guy, just call me Trebek. Put them in the messages in either the Sensus Fidelium or the @RealKingDude chat room on YouTube, or at crusadechannel.com/chat. Or you can be really nice and you can buy Doc and I a cup of coffee at mikechurch.com/coffee. $5 gets you a question or a comment, and happy to do that. I'll be back here on the Mike Church Show on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network with Dr. Haugen, Dr. Deep State here, and just a moment here on the Mike Church Show on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. So don't go away.
Their money, but we do know there's a pound of gold in Mike Church's studio, and all you have to do to win is listen for the golden sound of the day. Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. on the Mike Church Show at MikeChurchShow.com and on YouTube at Real King Dude.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Janet Huxley at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for Tuesday, June the 16th, 2026. This report is brought to you by the Golden Truth Ticket Sweepstakes. Get your gold fruit tickets today at winapoundofgold.com. In the market report, the Dow was up 0.92% and the S&P 1.65%. NASDAQ climbed 3.07%. In National Day calendar news, historical events on this day include, in 1858, Abraham Lincoln's deliverance speech on the infamous House Divided. The first roller coaster opens in New York's Coney Island. That was back in 1884. The Ford Motor Company was incorporated on this day in 1903. And that was the same year the Pepsi-Cola Company formed, when pharmacist Caleb Davis Bradham officially registered the Pepsi-Cola trademark. Also, it's National Fudge Day. Fudge has been around since about 1886, when the earliest records of documented reference are found. Our quote of the day: a great means to preserve continual peace and tranquility of soul is to receive everything from the hands of God, both great and small, in whatever way it comes. St. Dorotheus. You can learn about today's saint in the Saint of the Day podcast, From the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart Sisters, by listening or downloading at crusadechannel.com/saint. You're listening to the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
And here I would make this inquiry of those worthy characters who composed a part of the late Federal Convention. Sir, give me leave to demand, what right have they to say, we the people? Who authorized them?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2-DVD or 3-CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Yep.
Yep.
So, are we gonna do this regenerative farming thing or what?
Yep.
Who you calling degenerate?
Tommy, that's regenerate.
It means to recycle the earth, not till it to death.
Great, because I'm cycling rounds with Vera till death.
We're gonna starve to death, y'all.
Don't be a Tommy. Stock up on regenerative farming books and books to farm by in the Founders Trading Post. Books by Father Dennis Fahey, Father Vincent McNabb, Hilary Belloc, and many, many more. And remember, these books aren't just how-tos on moving earth, livestock, and sowing seeds. These books teach the family economy that flourishes on a small family farm, homestead, and yep, even suburban development. So start your collection and start your learning and change your family life for the better today. All books available at mikechurch.com/farm.
Hey, Rick, this row needs another pass. Where's the regenerate switch on this shovel?
I think I'll go to sleep and dream about piles of gold getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Here's a piles and piles of gold fun fact. When making Raiders, Spielberg chose the Golden Ark of the Covenant because he knew audiences wouldn't go, ooh, ah, if Nazis stole a parchment scroll containing a psalm. Now, we don't know where the lost Ark is, but we do know that Mike Church has 1 troy pound of gold in his safe, and that he's going to give it away on July 2nd, and you don't have to say, ooh, ah, to win it.
Win Mike Church's Pound of Gold. Tickets on sale now exclusively at winapoundofgold.com. Ark of the Covenant sold separately. Who needs a 007 license to kill?
That gun looks more fitting for a woman.
You know much about guns, Mr. Bond?
When you've got a license to kill. Heresy.
No, I know a little about women.
The truth is bonded on the Mike Church Show.
Well, since on Sunday night Trump introduced Idiocracy 2.0 with Hector Elizondo, Macho Camacho, Mountain Dew, Macho Camacho, he was Don John, Big Mac Diet Coke, El Trumpo. Why can't I take my wrestling names? Stone Cold Dude Austin, the Duty Llama, Rufus R. Freight Train Dude. Those of you that grew up in the Mid-Atlantic region, you know all these names. Wahoo McDoodle. How did an Indian guy whose name was Wahoo get an Irish last name? I always wondered that about Wahoo McDaniel. Was such an awesome wrestler. This portion of the program brought to you by the Golden Truth Ticket Contest and raffle. So we're going to raffle off a pound of gold, a troy pound of gold on July the 2nd. And I'm going to pull a ticket out of that hopper, and one of you is going, and then I'm going to trace it back to your ticket number, and one of you is going to go, yes, it's going to be yours, and I'm going to send you 12 American Eagle gold coins, just like I sent Chris Payne of Kentucky, 12 American Eagle. You can call it American Eagle, or you can call it the flip side is the Liberty coin. Whatever you wish to call it. It costs about today $4,200 to get one. I'm going to give you 12, but you got to give me a ticket purchase. So go to winapoundofgold.com, buy your ticket today, or 20. I think you ought to get your entire church together, and you should buy like 1,000, kind of like a syndicate, and then you have a chance to win the gold for the entire church. And of course, 1,000 would be equal to the. You could buy the gold, but you could do 100. So there's no limit, and then you can become an affiliate as well, and then you could sell tickets. And for every 10 that you sell, I'll give you a free one. So now you've doubled your chances just because you send an email or a text message to 10 friends with your affiliate link. It's all on the same site. Explains it very well. If not, call me. I'll explain it to you. Go to winapoundofgold.com. Winapoundofgold.com. Okay, Dr. Deep State here with us, Dr. Greg Haugen. You know, I'm looking at your YouTube channel. If I didn't know you from Adam, I'd go, man, this is very dark stuff here. EWTN, crypto dispensationalist broadcasters to the world. Are you saying that EWTN is doing epical era-based Protestant broadcasting? And that's just the first video that on your channel. I could go back however many years, but that one just caught my eye. My friend Christopher Rauer kind of wrote a book about the decline of EWTN. That was 20 years ago. So I don't watch it very much, but what's going on over there?
Well, there was this hoo-ha with a spokesperson over there that was a straight-up dual covenant person, and then there's an association between her being promoted over at the Vatican, and I don't know all those details.
Oh, yes!
Raymond, yeah, I mean, she was straight up, pushing this stuff.
Yes.
And I talk a lot about the Trump delusion, and I've been consistent about that. I know that, other conservatives have still, I think if you're still lost in that, I don't know what to tell you right now. But yeah. Put the Fox News kind of reality, all of this stuff has been condemned by the church, and we have to kind of get back to base reality. And so I make that point. And fundamentally, I could go on the show, in particular, I was going after Raymond O'Rourke, This World, and I watched an episode and it blew my mind. This is worse than like Ben Shapiro's The Wire or something like this. So I had a couple guests and they had insights into it, and we tried to have a little bit of fun with it. But yeah, I talk about how Trump is not anybody's savior. I don't know if we want to go into that right now. What I would like to do is I had a book that come out, my favorite one of all times this year, called Saints of the Apocalypse, Escaping the Empire of Spectacle. And that word spectacle, we see the Trump delusion, all the insider trading, the level of corruption that is almost unimaginable. And it's in your face. Just this, Son is trying to do inside trading at the bare knuckle fight in front of the, the motorcycle idiocracy.
Right.
It's the spectacle, getting out of it. So I have 10 saints. And I want to say, yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I want to say something really quickly about the notion of spectacle. Am I still on?
Oh, absolutely, you're still on. Here, StreamYard does this, and it's a bug in the StreamYard program that you can't see me. So.
Tertullian, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. John Chrysostom talk about this Roman spectacle. It's a tool of empire, but what's unique about their Catholic perspective is they understand the power. Now, when Meta comes on, they're not going to need the goggles. It's going to be your brain has been so taken in by the system, dumbed down and rearranged about what Catholicism is, what our teachings are, that you're just going to be brainwashed into it. So what St. Augustine in particular, when he looked at the power that it had over people as a tool of empire, he called it a demonic ontology. It really captures you in a mind prison. And he went in depth on this, and so did St. John Chrysostom. And before, in that world, before you could be baptized and enter the church, and catechized, you literally had to be exorcised, like literally exorcised to the demons of spectacle. I argue that ancient spectacle has migrated into our modern world, has captured the mind in this age of deception of most. So I start with St. Stephen, casting that first heavenly vision all the way to our Blessed Mother in Fatima, but before that, St. Vincent of St. Colby. And all these people are speaking in their time, to our condition and why we can't call out the atrocities in this world and connect the dots, and why we're very selective as Catholics. Many of us have been corralled in when we say we support life. Well, if the TV tells us to support there and it's cool, we'll do it over there, but we don't want to look over there because that's a hard truth. We might really have to be picking up our cross and dealing with persecution to deal with that truth. And so that's part of the quest of reality. The saints tell us is that the blood of the martyrs is something, the twin spirit, when St. Stephen is being stoned and the vision comes before him and he called out the enemies of the church as the church is brand new. I say there's a dual spirit that we have to capture from him. At one time, he's militant. You did it. I'm going to defend the church. But it's also a spirit of martyrdom, accepting the suffering that comes with picking up your cross. And all of the saints, the 10 that I deal with that theme of connecting those two together to speak to our age. When you do kind of see the corruption of the world and the darkness and the attack on the church, how do we deal with this? And a lot of people, maybe you gave Trump a chance and you're kind of running out of options. And you have this feeling like, okay, now what do I do? It seems like, I saw what happened with Thomas Massey. It's obviously, it's hard to deny this anymore. Voting, we see the data centers coming in cities. People rush to the city halls and they build them anyway. And you're saying, well, if we can't vote our way out of this, what are our options? That's what the saints are telling us. They were here. They're with us. We commune with them. We believe that as Catholics. They want to offer us the assistance. Some of the answers are pretty simple, that you grow in holiness, but you have to hear that and connect it to our time in order to really feel motivated. And I have a locals community. We do shows 3 times a week, and we build each other's faith up, looking at these hard truths in the world, looking at the enemies of the church, but always walking together through charity with one another and building our faith. So that's an exciting thing that I do. And again, links are in the description if you go over to my Dr. Deep State YouTube channel.
Now, when you say local, are you on a local radio station or just a local group?
It's a community of locals, so it's called Locals, and it does cost $5 a month. And we go in there, and I do 3 shows a week, and people are able to post and they have a constant thread, so we're all in conversation with each other. And it's a wonderful community, and I'm so thankful for our community.
A couple of things, Dr. Haugen, as I listen to you speak. Number one, confirmation and patron saint, St. Augustine. Long story. I'll call you someday, and I will tell you how that happened. And it was not. it was divine intervention for sure, or providential, that Augustine was actually chosen for me. I was actually you're going to take Augustine as your confirmation. So I'm like, okay. That's one thing. So very connected to St. Augustine. A daily prayer of mine, and I have a St. Augustine medallion. I don't wear it with the long tie. I wear it with the bow tie. And it's every day. St. Augustine, intercede for me for the grace and the wisdom to choose and to seek the city of God over the city of man. And if people forget that this great work here, that there's nothing new under the sun. Augustine called out the Roman Empire and saw what was happening in the Roman Empire as literally unholy bread and circuses. And they say, they're trying to blame us for this, but you can't blame. It's a magnificent work that I haven't read the whole thing, but I read it from time to time. And thirdly, to your comment, the French author Jacques Vallée was writing in the 1960s and 70s about UAPs and UFOs. And the blogger, whose name I should not mention, Frank Wright will kill me if I do, but I'll say it, Rod Dreher, because Frank can't stand Dreher. Dreher, I read Dreher because Dreher's a great source. The guy must just live with an encyclopedia. He's a great source finding people like you. I'm surprised I haven't found him through you. But he quoted Vallée 2 days ago, and I'm listening to Dr. Haugen going like, well, this is exactly what Vallée said. The sense of failure, this is from a book he wrote called Messengers of Deception. And this is almost verbatim what you just said. The sense of failure, the progressive loss of hope in the world, in sober calculation, and an organized human effort through the Greek back upon his own soul. upon the pursuit of personal holiness, upon emotions, mysteries, and revelations, upon the comparative neglect of this transitory and imperfect world for the sake of some dream world far off. A dream world far off. Trump, MAGA. That is exactly what the UFO contactees are offering us when they invite us to step into a pleasant mirage to reprogram our consciousness. It's a scam. It's a psyop. He wants you to believe it, so I'm going to sell you this fake reality so that you won't be bothering with that real Catholic EE and stuff reality, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I could talk about the demonic, but you can go into this and into this and into the short end is if it's not a government psyop or something manufactured by the military-industrial complex, it's a demon. End of story. You don't have to go that much further. It's part of a deception. Don't buy the lie. The more you buy these controlled narratives, the more susceptible you'll be. And most people have been trained not to be that person that pulls and starts asking questions, but it's really important to our faith. Most people are going to be deceived, and we're into that stage of we're living in the age of deception. This is the ultimate last card in the great deception. Just, don't fall for it. It's a demon. It's part of getting you on some frivolous journey and then ultimately into hell. One of the things we do on my locals channel is to really get tuned in to how to spot these narratives and so forth, is use the mind of the church. So we have a show each Friday called Memory Hole Friday, and we take great Catholic teachings, especially from 1850 to 1950, because all of this stuff is so fresh, more so than even as much as the saints, that they knew the conspiracy, but it's been memory hold, including by the church. So for an example, right now, we're reading from Monsignor Henry Delace. It's a thick, beautiful book, goes over the same thing. The attack begins with the enlightenment, which is a false term. It turns everything upside down, turning around the church age into it's a process. The unveiling that we're living through, the apocalypse, is a long going unveiling into the Protestant Revolution, the French Revolution. And finally, there is a conspiracy by the older brother, and they dare to say it. And that's why, because there's an enmity. That's what the church has always understood. When you understand that there is an enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, between the city of man and the city of God, between Christ and the Pharisees, then this kind of skewing from Vatican II, this blurring, what we call Nostra Aetate, this blurring, we want to go back to the base, the vision that was established by St. Stephen. So the clearness of that beatific vision, we want to return to that fullness of that reality. And so we've been entangled by the snares of this world, and much of this in our modern world comes from modern media. It has a goal, it has operators. The spectacle has managers. We want to believe everything's just one accident, like markets crash magically, wars start magically. And dare we say that there's a group of people that want to destroy the church in order to build an anti-church, destroy Christian civilization in order to bring on the Antichrist. And of course, Scripture talks about that, and we can see it clearly once we open my eyes. We want to see how they operate so that we are not deceived. Another great book, if you want to get edgy and stuff like that.
I love getting edgy.
People at Vatican II, they were warned. They were warned. The plot against church, beautiful church. We go through sources like that, and a lot of people, if it's new to them, they can't talk about this with their husbands or their neighbors, at the people at church. They come into our community, and they find that, like, lifting those blinders, it's a little scary at first, but it's like clears the air, and then you have people to talk to and share your faith with. And we learn to do it in charity for the other, because ultimately none of this waking up means anything if we lose our charity and in the passion. So we don't want to have the mind of the enemy. We want to have the mind of Christ, and we want to be around people that can explore this reality, the deepest reality, in a true historical Catholic sense. And unfortunately, the church itself has scrunched one of the great. You read these books. This one's published in 1910, and I have three dudes I do the show with on Fridays.
Okay.
And all we say is like, oh my goodness, this will tell you more about what's going on today than any podcaster could.
Are these on the YouTube channel, Dr. Haugen?
I only put this on my locals. I come up and do one YouTube a week, and I kind of do a recap of what I'm doing on locals because I don't need the toxicity and all of that. I like to kind of get people and keep in tune, but I just want to be able to speak my mind and be around a community of people where we're just going to lay it down as it is, as Catholics.
So do you think that you will, as a service to your listeners and viewers, do you think that you will go see the Spielberg film so you can review it and warn people about it? Because I'm wrestling with this. Do I want to go see it and review it and tell people, no, don't?
I know this sounds bad. I haven't seen a film in like 14 years, unless I was watching a little something with my daughter or something. It's not some virtue. I just get really bored with the propaganda for the most part. Although I have seen a couple classic Catholic ones, I will say that, and done some reviews. I've already seen the reviews. I kind of have an idea that it's really, again, another attack on reality. It's attack on the Catholic Church. It's going to like throw your faith off. It's typical Hollywood. It's just more in your face right now. This is what we've always done, tried to seduce you into our fantasy world and then break the legs of your Western tradition in the meantime. But ultimately, it's so obvious that I would think it wouldn't backfire. I mean, I don't know who buys this stuff.
Well, just reading Dreyer's review, which is very detailed, one of the things that Spielberg says that these aliens do in the film is they kidnap children in the dead of the night. Why is it always children? They're always after the children. They kidnap children in the middle of the night, and they do painful things to them so that they remember them. Now you think about this. Well, why would a being that wants to be empathetic with you or sympathize with you or wants a ongoing peaceful relationship be stealing the youngest of you, the most innocent, impressionable, and then doing horrible things to them? So this, and Dreyer says that this is the worst Gnostic film he's ever seen.
Yeah.
That there's just Gnosticism is all over it. So my sage or not sage advice is, if you can avoid Gnosticism, avoid it. You know, the exorcists tell you, don't put yourself in a situation where a bogey can get on you. And don't go in there going like, no, I'm holy. I bless myself with holy water. Dude, you can think that all you want. You'd better to be safe than proverbial sorry, right? So I almost to tell people, look, you're just going to have to take it from the people that have seen it and have reviewed it, and probably stay away. I mean, they're trying to say that this film is the number one in the box office. I had guys that were telling me this weekend, Dr. Haugen, sending me personal messages going like, I checked my local theaters. I've been checking them every day since Thursday. Half the seats are unsold in every showing. They're lying. They're lying. It's not number one at the box office. People are not going out or in droves to go see it. They're lying. So the question then is Spielberg, or has he always been, I think he always has been, in cahoots with said deep state? You know, there was a great article that came out in 1982. I don't remember the publication. I was a young man. I was 20 years old. But I remember reading it going, that's interesting. And the title of the article was How Spielberg and Lucas Killed the Movies. How Spielberg and Lucas killed the movies. And they took the real world of Don Quixote and pirates and the real life world of bad people, and then took us off planet and took us into the world of things that don't exist, and then did the same triad, Shakespearean triad, set up, crisis, and then resolution. And they just rinse and repeat, but with things that weren't real. Quite the scam, if you think about it.
Well, that is Gnosticism. It takes what's real and repackages it. And a political philosopher who was a Nazi called Carl Schmitt was a very brilliant man. And he said that all modern political concepts are snatched from the church, the true metaphysics, and they're repackaged in the temporal. And likewise, with the Gnosticism that goes on in Hollywood, they're taking a true world of reality and creating a Disney world. And ultimately, this metaverse, the goggles, this cave, Plato's cave that they're trying to put the whole world in and make sure that the back door is locked. So you're permanently in this simulacrum of reality. That's where it's taking us. That is the anti-church. That is what Archbishop Fulton would say it has all the looks. This is where basically our politics right now it has all the looks of the original, emptied of its divine content. And that's where we're at today. And the ultimate goal here with these films or the Gnostic agenda, it's really about just putting mind demons inside of you. And so you're opening yourself up. First of all, they want to seduce you. It's like the spectacle into this. And when we think about this age of deception, what does Scripture what does Scripture kind of connect this with? I have put a restrainer between you and this ethereal dimension, because there's going to be a time that restrainer is going to break down. And the goal is to really, through science and AI and your belief system, break down that. And we could call the restrainer the Pope or Archangel Michael or the faith, but it's being broken down. They want this other dimension into ours. It's really, people talk about a merger between man and machine, bio-digital convergence, and that's part of it. But ultimately, it's about getting demons into the masses and the population, and we have to be guarded. And part of it is just what we kind of have always taken, like, oh, we can be in the world as Catholics. We have to be more skeptical of the media around us, because it's laced with these kind of messages that wants to open you up. We have to be guarded and closed to things that just are not of God. They're not Catholic. And really just have the mind of the church and Christ, as we have to be in the world and not of the world. But yeah, it's demonology. And now with AI, it's high-tech demonology that they're waging against our minds, bodies, and spirits.
Just like with the fake reality that they are literally trying to create, which says, oh no, the AI business model is going to, all these people are going to be disemployed. It's almost like they wish for these people to be unemployed and for the destruction of entire vocations. So it's almost like, you sound like you actually want this to happen, like it's inevitable. It's not inevitable. The telephone was not inevitable. It happened, but it did not have to happen. And I think that the philosophical or just the thinking man's way to think about some of these things, and it's especially true when we're talking about Trump and the deep state and Trump and the fantasy world. Look, you were almost quoting me. You almost used my words that I've used lately, where it's like, I've been in this business a long time. I've covered politics mainly. I did a little Catholicism and still do on it and bring it into the show because I want people to know, no, there is a philosophia perennis way to think about this. That's wrong. This is illogical thinking from the get-go. Don't do that. Don't think like that. But I was one of those who went, I have children, someday have grandchildren. I want it to work. I don't want it to be destroyed. So, yeah, just the last chance, because I signed off on politics in 2013. Went, nope, there is no solution you're going to get out of that ballot box. I said, okay, one more chance. So this betrayal talk about an enlightenment, this pulling of this curtain back, and then showing in broad daylight the abject corruption, and then the prideful, the hubristic just dismissal of the concerns of regular people. They was basically saying, well, that's because you're stupid. You're not as smart as me. You can't see into the future like I can. And I think some of this stuff, I'm like, are you getting like preternatural advice? Are they telling you that they can tell you the future? Because they are angels after all, demons. They do have an intelligence that we don't have. And even though God has not revealed the end to them, they don't know the end. They still know a lot more than we know. And there's some of that, you hear that, and that just makes it that much more painful. But the divorce was clean. I got the kids and everything in the settlement, and I'm off back into a new world where I'm trying to set brush fires of new Christendom, not liberty like Sam Adams said. Brush fires of new Christendom. The church has the answer. It always did. Stop playing around. Men, you need to get to your arms, and Christ is king, as you say in one of your videos about Ted Cruz. Christ is king, Ted. You're absolutely right for all the wrong reasons, but you're right. Christ is king. The church has the answers. A Catholic confessional state is the answer. It's not perfect. We're on earth. Perfection is up there, but it's better than what we have, and it won't get in the way of your salvation. That's what government is supposed to do. Don't get in the way of my salvation, my attempt at a blessed eternity. And the governments that we have today, Dr. Haugen, almost intentionally try and get in the way.
One of the phenomenons that's going on, and Oswald Spengler talked about this 100 years ago, and he, in a secular sense, traced empire back, through, and there's predictable patterns, because whether we're looking at the story of redemption history or secular history, there are common threads. God operates through natural law, and there is a typology in the secular world that works as well. But he noticed 100 years ago, Spengler, that there's common characteristics at the end of empire, and we could call it, in this sense, many call Trump Neo-Caligula, but there's a clown world sense at the end of all empires. So in this sense, it's kind of just part of where we're at with this situation, this idiocracy that we see. It's utterly predictable, the corruption, everything else that goes with it. But what he said in about the 1920s, he would say the ultimate clown show, the final sort of sinking of this story of world empires, and again, this is in a secular sense, will come in about 100 years. And so what I see right now, because I call this the empire of spectacle, something has grabbed the mind of the whole world. So it's not a particular empire in one part of the world, but it's something that's grasped the whole world, is a sense of clown show. And we see it in our face. People that voted for Trump said, they might go to a priest or a pastor, and the pastor said, just vote for policy. In other words, vote for Trump, because he's got these promises.
Right.
And then the very first week, he trots out the tech bros, and we're going to hook you up with the mRNA technology. We're going to hook you up to the Neuralace and the Neuralink, and you're going to be, he's saying this in the first week of office, like the third day, has all the tech bros, all the richest people in the world telling you, hey, this is the plan. It's like, did I vote for that? Yeah, I'm going to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we're going to buy Greenland. We're going to attack Greenland. Oh, and I didn't even talk about Iran yet. It's like, are you getting it? So everything with the corruption and the craziness and the spectacle in front of the White House, it's part of the end of empire. But what I suggest is this final building over time in the secular world and the biblical world of this final spectacle and the ultimate clown world that really has hit the whole world right now, is just the anticipation and the preparation for the final Caligula, the Antichrist. So it's in our system. We need to fight in the real world. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. But it is going to be frustrating because these data centers are part of this massive surveillance grid to put you in this permanent state where you cannot make decisions. And it is very mark of the beast kind of thing. Some people get scared and they want to kind of pull off. I would invite you to kind of look into it. It's a little painful. You do not want to be given over to this deception, and you do not want to take the mark of the beast. Are we in this time? Well, we might be, so you might want to be prepared for it. But yeah, you want to pull out of the hope in these false saviors. And if you're still hanging on to anything with Christ, I think I've lost you long ago here. But if you're still hanging on, this is Kabbalah magic. They tell you what they're going to do. And in metaphysical terms, if you know that someone's sinning, if you know they lie, they cheat, they kill children, they eat children, and you're still rooting for them, you have to stand at the end of time in front of our Lord Jesus Christ, and you can't say, I didn't know, God. I just didn't know. You knew.
I had my Bible.
A delusion over what is real.
Well, they'll say, I had my Bible. I love how also all the Gnostic Zionist Protestants quote verse, regimen, and author in the Old Testament.
Right.
Never the New.
No.
Your Zionist empire is not in the New. You can't find it.
No.
So they have to to run around with the Old Testament. Okay. I told you an hour, so I've kept you for it's coming up on 1 hour, so I'm a man of my word. Okay. But I want to leave some fertile stuff for us to talk about in the future, because you're a really interesting, fascinating character and commentator and speaker and author and all these things rolled into one. But I'm just curious, so folks, I want you to go and subscribe to Dr. Haugen's YouTube channel now. I'll separate this video out, okay, and I'll send it to you, and I'll put it in the show notes. It's at Dr. Deep State 5867. We need to get you a shorter URL. You need to petition Google and tell them, I'm the original Dr. Deep State. But there's a video on here, and the last thing I want to ask you, you just have to tell me. Give me the Cliff Note summary version. Why is there a video called Judas Priest Live?
I did that with a fellow called the Catholic State. And oh my gosh, if I remember that. It's about one of the people in the hierarchy kind of betraying the doctrines of the church, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the satanic, sadistic rock band Judas Priest.
It is. It's a little play. It's a little bit of clickbait there.
And you can get Dr. Haugen's books at Amazon, beginning with The Singularity, right? The Singularity. Right. Okay. That goes back to 2000.
Singularity. Yep. And then In Pursuit of the Metaverse, and my final book here that came out in 2006 is Saints of the Apocalypse, Escaping the Empire of Spectacle.
And we are living in an empire of spectacle. And while you were talking, because I'm a student here, I'm not one of these guys go, I don't need to. No, I'm always learning, and thank you for the lesson. I looked Oswald Spengler up. So I'm looking, because I'd never heard of the guy. Maybe I heard him, and I'm looking and going like, wait, why didn't I know this? About the end of empire. Every empire goes through spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then that's it. I guess we're in winter.
Yeah, they have a life expectancy, and that's why people that make America great. It just doesn't work that way. And even if you call it a hegemonic power that usually lasts tops 150, but really peaks out 75 years. We're part of just it was Spain, and then it was Holland, then it was Britain, and now it was us. They just have a life expectancy. So the Make America Great on the last leg of this is just delusional in the first place.
Oh, it absolutely.
Especially after you've scrapped your infrastructure, you've scrapped your manufacturing base. You're not going to, that's what you need to build an empire. And this illusion that we're going to build, anyway.
No, it's a great. And I appreciate that. I think I think I'm going to read some Oswald Spengler now. So thank you.
But he called about a final Caligula character in 100 years at this pattern, and we're here.
We died in 1936. I love I have a theory. My theory is, and I've had this for about 12 years now. My theory is the Paraclete is always working. And he's working through the most unlikely of suspects.
Interesting.
He writes the truth in Spielberg movies. There's nuggets of it. And you go, the Paraclete, right there. The Holy Ghost got in that movie. Yeah. The Paraclete, for example, has worked through the avowed atheist, in other world, or Ridley Scott. And the reboot of the Alien movies, the last one that Michael Fassbender was in, there's a scene at the end, and I was the first one to catch it, and then other people went and watched it and went like, dude, holy crap, never would have thought about that the way that I'm like, that was the Paraclete got in there and just destroyed 30 years or 40 years of Scott's work in building that. No, man was created off world as a monster, and then one of the DNA monster things came here to Earth and mated with an amoeba, and billions and billions and billions, Sagan's billions of years later, and then it's us. But embedded in us is the alien. But there was a scene in that movie, and the Holy Ghost is always working through these people. He's always going like, oh, you think you're so smart? Watch this. I'm going to make your pen write that, and you're going to write that out, and you're going to tell people the truth. I think some of these guys are just out there, they just don't care anymore. It's just the original sin of pride and the original sin of being a tranny, basically, which is what Eve was tempted with. Oh, no, he doesn't want you to eat it because you'll transition to being a god like him, and he can't have that. The original sin is coming out, and I agree with you that the empire of spectacle, this is the empire of spectacle, and anyone that,
Yeah, I want to follow through the idea like the Holy Ghost working through unlikely things. But I would begin here with the book of Romans. The very first chapter is so brilliant and timeless. But he said he could say it to the Romans. He could be saying it to Adam and Eve after the fall. He could be saying to us today. You knew God. You knew God. You were in his being. You knew God. But in becoming wise, you became foolish and started following creepy crawly things like the snake of the garden, of the good and evil. So who became wise? The people that trust the science and follow the science and believe in evolution. It's the foundation of our. There's no evidence for it. I mean, the Big Bang, nothing became everything, and yet this is the foundation. Do you realize how insane this is? This is demonology. This is not. This is a dark religion, and yet this is who the universities that we're supposed to follow. This is the foundation of their belief. And so the people that laugh at God and church, the Catholic Church is God, the last place you would look for the truth. That's the very last place you would look for the truth. And so the people that leave that are the ones sometimes most prone to. They want to hope for an ET, one of these dark, creepy aliens. I saw a professor years ago that he would laugh at Noah's Ark, and so he had a big poster on his wall with a flying saucer said, "I want to believe." This is what the darkened mind comes to. So something that's interesting that I said a week ago on my podcast. Sorry, this is on YouTube. I think I mentioned this. And if you want to think of this force moving throughout history, this Gnostic force, this is trying to bring in the Antichrist, bring in the anti-church. There's many magical workings, there's many rituals, but it really ultimately it's one giant black mass over time. So again, this is what you're saying, the Holy Spirit. We as Catholics believe in the real presence. That is what threads our life force, Christian civilization, that Christ nailed himself into history, and it's threaded essentially through that lifeblood of the Holy Eucharist. This is what brings us unity. This is what brings us life, because he told us, you feed on me and you will have life. And so Protestants tend not to believe that. Too many Catholics tend not to believe that. But do you know who does? Hardcore real Satanists. Because they realize that in having a black mass, they are empowered. And so when we see that, you're not going to do a black mass of a Seventh-day Adventist, a Pentecostal, fill in the blank, a Methodist church only. And the most powerful is a Latin mass. And when you do an inversion, they are empowered with these spirits that want to go out and eat children and everything else. And they, and when we don't call them out, and we're not the restrainer on this, because we've lost our sense, we've lost our salt, as scriptures say. We're no longer salty. And we need to come back and be the salt, because we need to get down to the foundations of reality and understand why were those things memory holden. We need this information to embrace the fullness of our Catholic faith and tradition and speaking, so that we can be the salt against this dark working, because ultimately all of these things, all these false beliefs are going to be accumulated and absorbed by the Antichrist. So we want to resist these, because they're going to get in the little levers, the uncomfortable truths that we don't want to say, the things that we're kind of embarrassed about. No, we want to embrace those. If they're true doctrine, if they're truly part of the magisterium, embrace the fullness of the faith, be the salt against these wicked forces putting themselves in your face right now. Are you going to push back now? No. Anyway.
Absolutely, we're going to push back. Okay, so find Dr. Haugen hiding under the cover of the Deep State Doctor on YouTube, and anywhere else they should look for you?
That is pretty much it. If you go to YouTube, I have my links. I should probably have backups when I think about it, how unsafe that is, but my locals is there. My books are there in the description section. And that's pretty much it. Okay,
and we'll link to it in the video. Dr. Haugen, thank you so much for being with us. We should keep
Absolutely, I loved it.
We should keep this conversation going for. The audience is loving it, by the way, just judging from the comments. There's a lot of stuff in here that's new for a lot of people too, and that's exciting, because we're always trying to break ground and find people that are, wait a minute, I never. You guys are talking about things. Yeah. You said you're a Catholic. I haven't heard this. So we'll continue the conversation. Thanks for being on the Mike Church Show and the Ethics and Broadcasting Network.
I told Stephen I'm doing a video on YouTube this week, and I'm going to make sure up front to promote your gold.
Do that. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Haugen. All right. God bless you and Mary keep you always.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, folks, so that was Dr. Haugen and Dr. Deep State. And again, in the show notes down there, I will put, and in the transcript of our conversation in the chat also as well. So the show's just about over here, folks, but there was one last thing that I needed to do.
I can't read the whole thing, but I can tell you that these are definitely pre-colonial Native American markings.
Easily 500 years old.
Easily. I can identify one symbol. Look at this. Do you know what that is?
Sacred calendrical? I don't know.
That symbol is Cibola. That's Cibola.
The city of gold. The city of gold. In 1527, a Spanish ship wrecked on the Florida coast. There were only 4 survivors. One was a slave named Esteban, who saved a local tribe's dying chief. As a reward, he was taken to their sacred city, a city built from solid gold. Later, when Esteban tried to find the city again, he never could. But the legend grew, and every explorer came to the New World in search of it. When General Custer's search for gold ended with his last stand at Little Bighorn, it became clear none would ever find it.
Ben, can you imagine if the Confederates got their hands on the city of gold? My God.
Yes, I can imagine the Confederates getting a hold of the city of gold. Can you imagine the Confederates getting a hold of the city of gold? What do you mean, the Confederates? I said this earlier. Dr. Haugen was a very gracious guest, and it was great to have him on. It's great to get such a new and fresh philosophical and well-researched and read perspective on things. So we'll separate that video out and we'll put it up so that anyone that wants to watch it can watch it back in real time. It is a Tuesday here. This portion of the program has been brought to you by the Dude Gear Store. Shop with us today at shop.mikechurch.com. You still can get a Father's Day shopping list accomplished, bought, and I will get it to the post office and shipped out today. But you need to go and shop right now at shop.mikechurch.com. At shop.mikechurch.com. Yeah, there's so many things that are on the Father's Day list, but we got a great deal going. Buy 2 bags of coffee. Golly! 2 bags of coffee, and I will give you, Dad, a bottle of Beast and Butt Rub. Free O charge, don't cost nothing.
0.0.
Plus free shipping on orders over $70. So great Father's Day shopping experience there. We have your great books. We have my Manchipia Maria cigars. Dad needs one of those. He needs an apron. He needs a Cooking with the King Dude apron. He needs all that. He needs a Mike Church Show commemorative 35-year anniversary t-shirt. He needs all of that. He needs a dude number. What happened to all my dudes? So get your dude number and all that. Shop for Dad at for Father's Day at shop.mikechurch.com. All right, you people on the Sensus Fidelium chat, I'm trying to give you a ticket. I'm trying to get one of you on, which is why I played the soundbite during the course of the program, but you people just aren't fast enough on the fingers. Either that or you don't have phones. Do Sensus Fidelium viewers not have phones? Do you not want me to give you $52,000, me and Steve to give you $52,000 worth of gold? So we'll try again tomorrow, but for today, we're taking caller number 4. Caller number 4. And I'm sorry, caller number 5. We're taking caller number 5 to win a pound of gold and a free Golden Truth ticket. Who is caller number 5?
Dude, 1313, Jeff Johnson.
Now, you see, you see, we're trying to work other people into the contest, knowing that Jeff and Jacqueline and the Dolans, and I keep waiting for Schaefer to beat you. As a matter of fact, I can't believe that you actually bested him. And our other wonderful longtime listeners are all going to win. Like somebody said, you should just RSTLN those guys and just give them tickets and give other people a chance to win. I'm like, what's the fun in that? You have to make them. You have to make them call.
And I never call.
No, you.
I mean,
He's the only caller. He's the only one that has the phone number memorized. Speed dial.
Well, it's on my speed dial, exactly.
Okay, so...
hey, I would love to break bread with you today.
But
I live too far away.
Oh, bread, yes! He's got the secret soundbite of the day embedded in a video. It's bread. You get two, not one, but two Golden Truth tickets. So Jeff Johnson, dude number 1310, right?
1313.
1313 is our big winner today. Well, Jeff, are you going to bury the gold under the greenhouse in your new home?
Actually, if I win it, I'm going to sell two, and that will buy my off-grid solar for me. And so, because I'll be building up there as soon as I close on my house down here, so up in Maine. So, yeah, no, and the rest of it, maybe I will bury it up there in the hinterlands of Maine. Who knows?
Well, good luck to you. Thanks for playing the Golden Truth Ticket on air game. And congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. You have a great day.
All right.
I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thank you very much. Your chance to win my gold comes tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. when I play the Golden Truth Ticket soundbite of the day. Be the appropriate number caller later in the day, just like Jeff Johnson was, and I'm going to give you at least one ticket. Details on how to win a second ticket online at winapoundofgold.com. I want to thank all of you for listening and watching. Thanks to Dr. Haugen for being our great guest today. Thanks for all of you. You know, you can win a pound of gold by going and buying a ticket and then becoming an affiliate. You don't have to do anything to become an affiliate. When you buy your ticket, you are automatically signed up. Now, you don't have to do anything with it, but you can, and that is use your custom affiliate link. It is on winapoundofgold.com. Click the affiliate tab. That will open up a new window. Your unique affiliate link will be down there. But if you're not happy with that and you want some other fancy schmancy link that has your name in it, type it into the custom link box, and then the affiliate program will generate a new link for you. Send that to everyone you know and tell them you're playing this game. You'd like to be crowned affiliate champion. In order to do that, you want them to win a pound of gold too, and hopefully they'll go and buy a ticket using your link. Sell 10 tickets, you get one free one. Sell 20 tickets, and you get a second free one, and then you get promoted to the next level of affiliate, which will give you a 20% commission on every ticket sold. Now you only have to sell 5 to get another free Golden Truth ticket. So play the Golden Truth ticket game at winapoundofgold.com. Tell everybody you know. Won't it be the greatest thing to celebrate on July the 2nd that me and Steve Cunningham and all of you got together and we sold those 10,000 tickets and then awarded that gold to one of you. Second place is a pound of silver. That's not a shabby prize. So, second place is a pound of silver. Third place is the rare bourbon and mixers basket. Fourth place is a $500 gift certificate to the Ammo Depot. And fifth place is Steve Cunningham and Sensus Fidelium are donating gift cards. And if we get to the 10,000 tickets, Steve says he is going to buy diapers for some needy couple out there or woman for a year. So it's a great contest, and you can pay your ticket forward to any charity you want. Doesn't matter who it is or what it is. So you're like, I don't want the gold. I don't want to do. Do you want to make an attempt? Like, do you want to help the sisters build their convent at the St. Benedict Center? Buy them 10 tickets. Pay it forward, and they're on I think they're on the list. In any event, it's a great game, and we hope that many, many more of you today will choose to play it. And then we'll get some momentum going and start getting really excited about the possibility of actually getting to that 10,000 tickets sold. Just to give you a clue, last year we sold 2,342. So it would be nothing short of a miracle. And Steve has a novena going to St. Rita right now for it. We've been praying that alongside him. So you have a choice in what to listen to and what to watch. And you can play the Golden Truth Ticket game as a bonus here on the Mike Church Show. Thanks for listening and watching. If news breaks out today, we will break in. Podcast is going to be on podcast@mikechurch.com. You need a Dude Nation Metal membership. in order to access the podcast of this show. And there are 11 years of podcast at podcast.mikechurch.com. But you got to be a member. Go sign up today. Costs $10 a month to start. Go to mikechurch.com/dude. mikechurch.com/join. God bless you and Mary keep you. See you tomorrow.
He's got the truth on his side. The liberals can run, but they'll never hide. He's a friend of Mr. Madison as he fights all leftisms. He supports our troops over there, stands up to the kooks from care. He's the king, dude, of the nation of dude. Red, white, and dude.